World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. Round one from Hollius in Sweden provided mixed conditions with some familiar names at the top of the timesheets. Ekstrom, Hansen, Kristoffersson all in the mix. Hansen spun round at the start of the final, but no one could stop Johan. He took his 21st career victory and the first win of the season. Well, brilliant performance by Kristoffersson. We return, of course, for round two at Hollius in Sweden. Double-header weekend. He did not have it all his own way. This man, Mattias Ekstrom, the 2016 FIA World Rallycross champion, putting him under immense pressure. Hansen improving during the course of the day as the current champion. But these are the standings at the end of round one. Johan Kristoffersson, a perfect point score, not quite a perfect weekend. He didn't win every session, and it was clear that the others are closer than they've been before. Ekstrom in P2, Markland in P3. He was given a penalty in the final, which dropped him down a little bit and gave Scheider his second career podium in the World Rallycross Championship. Hansen, Gronholm, Scheider, Larsen and Kevin Hansen are your top 8 in the standings after round 1 of 10. Let's have a look at that calendar. We, of course, are in the Värmland region of Sweden for a doubleheader at the world-famous Hollius Rallycross circuit. A little bit later than normal. We head next weekend to Finland for a doubleheader, then Latvia for another 2 rounds. Then it's Spa, Montalegre, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and we finish the season with a brand new event at the Nordschleife in Germany. Up in the forest in Sweden, rain for round 1. What's the weather going to provide for round 2? Let's take a look at this brilliant track. Amazing action yesterday. It provides amazing action every time we come here. It's a legend. Hollius. 1,210 metres for the standard lap, 1,233 for the Joker. But the difference is significant. It's a tight chicane on the loose, 2.5 to 3.5 seconds, depending on the conditions. 30% asphalt, 70% dirt. Let's get round 2 underway. Hello, my name's Andrew Coley. I'll be commentating today with Dan Rook, former RX2 Series runner-up alongside me. Neil Cole reporting from the paddock and the pre-grid. Let's take a look at the early races from round 2. Q1, race 1, Anton Markland on the inside. Liam Doran, good job by the team to get that car repaired overnight and on the grid. He got the whole shot with Zarbo around the outside. Markland doing what he did yesterday and heading off for an early Joker. Would he make that work? Doran with a tiny bit of contact from Zarbo. Behind Doran, unfortunately, later in the lap, Zarbo just suddenly gained on him on the run up to the jump. Liam looking like he was in trouble and clearly with a mechanical issue that pushed him wide. Markland, meanwhile, had popped a tyre off the rim. Somehow managed to hold on to the McGann while Zarbo took the win. Race 2, this was an incredible lineup for a random draw. Backroom with a good start, Ekstrom alongside him though with an excellent one. Kristoffersson pitching it in around the outside in 4th gear, incredible. Ekstrom went Joker early and hunted Kristoffersson down. Johan really having to commit to the Joker on the last lap to try and get out in front of the 2016 champion. That's how close it was. Ekstrom has the pace of Kristoffersson. We're going to have a great fight on our hands today and hopefully for the rest of the season. Kristoffersson with the win, very quick indeed. Race 3, Scheider got a podium yesterday after a 30-second penalty for Markland. Gronholm couldn't quite get round the outside like Kristoffersson had, and he had to follow Scheider for the first lap. He did disappear off towards the Joker after giving Scheider a little friendly nudge to let him know that he was there. But when it all played out and Scheider came back out later in the race, he just edged the Finn. So Timo beating Gronholm. A few seconds cost for both of them with a battle between them. Kristoffersson at the top of the table. Q1, race 4. Inside, Robin Larsen won around a Nordic here earlier on this year. Got a penalty yesterday, which meant he didn't make the final. Said he wasn't too jealous because of how wet it was. Bachuska in the Clio. Sebastian Eriksson, last year's winner in the Honda. Kevin Hansen and Timmy Hansen. Timmy, the current World Rallycross champion. They started yesterday kind of on the back foot. I saw Kenneth and he was like, you know, it's okay. By the end of the day, they were there or thereabouts. Kevin unhappy with the move that Sebastian made on him in the Joker lap yesterday. said on social media he felt he was taken out in a dirty way. Let's see if he gives it back now. Great start, Hansen on the outside. Will he have enough to go round the outside like Kristoffersen did? Ericsson from slot number 3, though, getting the whole shot. Larsen surely going to go Joker from there. He does, chucks it in Larsen style. Great car control from Robin. Tuck it up over each of the curbs. It's Kevin that's gone in with him. So Kevin Hansen and Timmy Hansen behind Sebastian Ericsson. Do you know what? I think that could be advantage Larsen and Kevin.
Yeah, 100%. Like, especially if they just get their heads down and drive together instead of trying to get themselves in a bit of a fight with one another. And you can see Timmy there is already catching up to the back of Seb. So it's race on. And
Larsen's only 2.4 off. So now for Larsen, it's about what happens with Baciuska. They're on the back of Baciuska. If Baciuska doesn't Joker and give them clear track to close that gap down. Really, Timmy ought to go now for me, and he's going to. Timmy Hansen into the Joker. This is to try and cover off Larsen behind, but it's 2.1, and Larsen's going to get him. Kevin as well. So Timmy Hansen, although he got a better start, it didn't work out. And Dan, that's what I love again about this track layout, is you can lose the start. If you get in that Joker, you can get it done. Larsen up the inside of Baciuska. That is an awesome pass. Fantastic pass, tiny bit of contact, but that was committed, and he just sent it in there.
Yeah, he had to get the job done, didn't he? He was losing so much time behind Baciuska. It was quite a heavy contact, though. He lifted the car off the ground a little bit there.
Rear to front, though, he was already passed. In terms, for me, there's no penalty there. I'd say, yes, sir, I liked the battle between Larsen and Markman, but the stewards didn't. He got a penalty, but Larsen making a pass now. So Larsen with a big push. Lap times for him are in the 45s. Sebastian Ericsson goes Joker. Where's he going to come out? It's going to be a tight squeeze between Kevin and Timmy. Just in between the Honda. If you parked it in a gap that big, you'd be pleased.
It's a big car as well. Timmy having a look now on the outside on the rail into Velodrome. Going to try and get the switch back. But no, he can't quite make it. Sebastian.
When you see it between the two Peugeots, it really does look like a big machine, doesn't it? Sebastian's such a good driver. I get why they want him in the Honda to try and develop a bit. I'd quite like to have seen him in the Fiesta again that he won with last year. Problem for Timmy Hansen. Is that a mistake, Dan, or a mechanical?
Just as he came over the jump there, it landed slightly off and it just threw him across the grass. We'll see if he's got a problem. I don't know, maybe it doesn't look right, does it?
Popping the curb on the inside, it doesn't look quite right. Baciuska going to go Joker. It's not going to cost Timmy too much time. We'll try and find out. The Hansens are just behind us. We've only got 10 minutes between the sessions. We'll try and find out what happened.
Robin Larsen's lap time on the last lap out of traffic was a 44.2, so that's only 2 tenths off of Kristoffersen.
Yeah, he's on it, isn't he? And only 1 tenth off Ekstrom. So Larsen, Ekstrom, Kristoffersen, we know they're all bang on that pace. And Larsen, for me, this has been a great run for Larsen. To Joker when he lost the start, and then to make that committed pass on Baciuska, deserves a good result. Gets 1:3.04.3, puts him 3rd. That drops Baccarat down a position. Kevin Hansen 0.8 off. Where will that put Kevin? Is he going to slot in ahead of Andreas or behind? He slots in behind, so he'll be in 5th. So Baccarat holds on to 4th. So many people capable of pace. Larsen takes it from Kevin Hansen, Ericsson, Timmy Hansen, and Rokas Baciuska. And there you go. We were right. Larsen to 3rd, Kevin into 5th. Better result for Andreas Baccarat. I know a lot of people. Oh, look, I want to see him in the semi-finals. There you go. You know, we're unbiased, of course we are, but I want to see all those top guys up against each other. He was in the World Championship fight last year, didn't go quite right. You know, now he's back in the mix. On the inside, Larsen just I don't know if he's hesitant or didn't get the traction. Timmy's almost got enough space to chuck it in smoothly around the outside. Doesn't go for the sort of super sider. I think he knew he'd lost out to Ericsson, but Larsen commits to that Joker really early. And by the time he's out the Joker, it's almost a done deal.
Yeah, so he's come in there with so much pace, hasn't he, that he's already on the back of the train as he's exit.
And I think if Ekstrom had gone in with that much pace on lap 1, Ekstrom obviously decided just a tiny bit later, or maybe there was a car in front of him, I can't remember, but that for me is the difference between him and Kristoffersen being side by side at the Joker exit. So it really is close. Look at this. That is just incredible awareness from both Timmy Hansen and Sebastian Ericsson. Yeah, Timmy can stick a nose in there, but it's pointless. All you're going to do is cost both of you time, and Sebastian slotting in, great job. But that's the mistake from Timmy later in the run. Fantastic job by Larsen.
Robin, a great win to start the day, but you definitely had to work for it.
Yeah, the start is not that perfect from line 1, but at least I got a late hit, so I could rely on that a little bit. But early joker, and then it was just a push, and I got Bashuska a little bit too early and catch him up, and could take him in the velodrome side by side. I think I hooked him up in the wheel or something, so yeah, but I think I was third overall, so try to build on that and try to have another good Q.
Well done, thanks Robin.
Here we go. These are the standings at the end of Q1, round 2. Johan Kristoffersson wins Q1. P2, Matthias Ekström. Larsen in third. Backer at fourth. Kevin Hansen fifth. Timo Scheider. Niklas Gronholm. Timothy Yarnov. The Hyundais are P7 and P8. That's decent. Sebastian Eriksson ninth. Zarbo in 10th. All 3 Hyundais in. Schiescher in the top 11 along with Anton Markland. Timmy Hansen, P13. Work to do for Timmy today.
So, Timosyanov, dry conditions for round 2 this morning. How was qualifying 1 for you?
Yeah, it was really good. Yesterday on the draw, I chose maybe the fastest guys on the run, and that is Matthias, Johan Kristoffersson come later on, and Andreas Bakker. I know that it will be a really clean run. That is help for us because we was really, actually maybe not with the best times on my run from my side, but yeah, overall it was quite good and top.
And overall, it must feel really good to be back racing again, to get the season started.
Yeah, for sure, that is really good that we are waiting for so long and we are here now. We've done round 1 yesterday with the mixed conditions, and now today it's promising a good day, dry day, but maybe something in the semi-finals with small rain. But yeah, that is good to continue. First race from this long holidays is every time difficult, and that's why we're coming back in condition.
Thanks, Timo.
Thank
now,
you.
Staying within the same tent, let's move along here, see if we can speak to somebody else. Yes, Niklas Gronholm is there. In fact, we've got Topi Haken in there as well, so we'll just have a quick word with Niklas. Niklas, how was qualifying 1 for you?
Driving-wise, quite okay, I feel. The car was feeling good, and I just didn't have a good launch. I don't know why. I think the reaction was good, but the launch itself wasn't good. So we need to work on that and hope for better start, so we can challenge.
And of course, it looks like it might stay dry today, which I'm sure you're happier with because you were very quick in the dry yesterday.
Yeah, the wet conditions are not the best for us for the moment. We need to work on that. As you know, all the races are during this autumn, so it will be rain in other races, so we need to sort that out. But hopefully for today it will stay dry, and we can improve our dry setup even more.
Thanks, Niklas. Kiitos. Let's just go through here, Bob. Spotted this guy, a bit of a rallycross legend. So, Topi, tell us what you're doing here and why we aren't seeing you in a car.
Jussi was asking me to come and help the third car, and I really want to be part of the rallycross, and this is the one way to be. Of course, I would like to be behind the steering wheel, but the situation what it is, and just need to adapt for this.
So from behind the scenes, give us a quick idea of just how good these Hyundais are.
Yeah, like we have 3 drivers and we're getting all the data from them, so we really can see what this car can do if you put it together, so it's a good car.
Okay, well, we hope to see you in a car very soon. Thanks, Topi.
Thank you.
And Kiitos.
Q2 coming up next. Here are the standings ahead of our second session. Remember, there are only 3 sessions in each of these rounds as we're on a double header here at Sweden. Kristoffersson with the win from Ekström. Larsen, Bakker up there. Kevin Hansen, Scheider, Gronholm and Timothy Yarnov, 2 of the Hyundais in the top 8. And the third one, look, is in 10th place with Zarbo. Sebastian Eriksson, last year's winner in 9th. Schiescher and Markland 11th and 12th. Timmy Hansen, not a great Q1, needs to get his way up into the semis. Race 1 of Q2, Liam Doran on the outside after his problems in Q1. The British bomb getting a decent start. Baciuska inside him. Liam got pushed a little bit wide. Decided to dive off to the Joker, see if he could do a Markland, get the overlap on everyone and get out in front. Unfortunately, what he got was another mechanical issue. He had to pull the car off the track. What a shame. Baciuska at the front, Parston dropping into the back. It was a good run for Rockass. Race 2. Anton Markland from slot number 3 on the grid. Timmy Hansen getting pushed wide in slot number 4, and Markland jokered early again. It's a tactic that's worked well for him this weekend. He's got great lap times in the McGann, and it was a tidy joker from him. Zarbo a bit sideways over the jump. Shisharit following him on the standard lap. Markland hunted them down very quickly indeed. Zarbo off to the joker, and that was enough to see Markland come out just in front. Another great drive for Anton. Race 3 on the line. Scheider on pole, then Niklas Gronholm, Timmers Yarnov and Sebastian Eriksson. Only a couple of new tyres for each of these guys, and you can see they're not feeling quite so desperate as the people who are on the cusp. So you risk those tyres, or you wait, save those tyres for later. GRX Tanaco putting a pair of new tyres each on the same side of the car. Timmer versus Gronholm. They'll be sensible together in turn 1, I'm sure. Eriksson with a good start on the outside. Scheider's beating Gronholm off the line. Gronholm gets the squeeze. Timmer going to get the whole shot, though. 3 cars wide. Eriksson's on the outside. Nowhere to go from there. Is Gronholm going to go joker? He's not, but Scheider does. So Scheider, anyone at the back would have lost more time there. Timo's probably the only guy who could have benefited from jokering now. Gronholm up behind Timmer. He's going to want Timmer to get the hammer down. He wants to see the Timmer that was at Spa last year.
Yeah, that's what he needs right now, but he's run wide already.
That could be handy for Gronholm.
Yeah, but not quite able to find the gap through. Timmer Jarnov just carrying extra momentum. But then he's not hassling him, is he? But, well, we'll see as he comes up around here. He seems to be closing the gap again down the hill.
It's interesting just to see the difference in the attitude of the 2 cars down the hill. One completely square, one a little bit more sideways. Equal through here. Up at the velodrome, the style was different. Each of these little things down, whether it's driver style or just a tiny mistake, can be the difference between pace or not. Gronholm goes joker. So set GRX and Paul Gronholm off to the side. GRX Tanaco. Jussi Pinamaki, I'm sure, will be on the spotters radio. Super tight between them. Gronholm runs all the way up the curve on the inside, and he's come out behind Scheider, so that hasn't worked out.
Yeah, that's a familiar view for him from Q1, and that's not what he wanted at all. I think maybe he could have hung it out with Tim Jarnov just one more lap and see if they can find the gap.
Now, of course, Niklas could have made that decision for himself.
Yeah, you don't always have to rely on the spotter to make your calls. You can feel like you're really being held up, but it's a gamble if you go on your own, because you don't know what's happening behind you.
Defensive line again from Scheider on the way into the hairpin. It's you know, you could maybe take a couple more feet on the way in to get another couple of tenths, but Eriksson staying out. Eriksson is 2, where is Eriksson? Yeah, he's only 2 ahead of Scheider, so I think Eriksson's in danger from both of these guys, while Timmer at the moment would be in the clear, wouldn't he, when you think, and it's gone up, the gap's gone up to 4, so Gronholm's lost half a second. In fact, Gronholm's lost 0.8 of a second to Timmers Yarnov behind Scheider.
These 2 guys are squabbling though, aren't they? They're costing themselves time.
But then, you know, Gronholm looks to the inside, look, he's big in the mirrors, he's all over the back of Timo. There's that sideways again. Timo again takes a defensive line. Gronholm comes to try around the outside. Timmers Yarnov going to go joker this time. He's in turn 1 now. About to split off to the right-hand side. Here he goes, straight on for the Hyundai, straight on for the Honda behind. Timmer is in the 44s, but he hasn't been into the 43s. 44.0 he's done, does come out clearly in front. Eriksson drops to the back. So you see Timmers Yarnov, actually, look at, you see Scheider actually has not lost much time to Timmer. The question is over whether Gronholm could have gone quicker.
Yeah, it's in hindsight now, you can see that maybe he should have stayed with Timmer Jarnov instead of going on lap 2.
Might have only been a couple of tenths looking at it, wouldn't he? Really, what he really needed was to be in front of Timmer, wasn't it? Timmer is, as we've seen from Spa, watch the Spa final if you're in any doubt as to how good Timmer, double European Supercar champion, is. Timmers Yarnov takes it. 3:03.7, good enough for third, 1.1 seconds off the pace of Markland. Yeah, so if you're in any doubts how good he is that good, but at the moment, Gronholm just has a little bit of an edge over him. Certainly last year. 3 wins for the team last year, though. 2 for Gronholm, 1 for Timmer. Favourite win of the year, Spa. Timosjanov takes it, 3:03.7, shy of Gronholm Eriksson. There's where they go into the overalls. Timmy Hansen in 4th, so the lowest Timmy would be now is 9th if everybody beats him, but I'm not sure that'll happen. So Timmy should make it up into the semis from this session. Tiny bit of contact between Gronholm and Charlotte. Niklas's settings, obviously, well, it could be the grid slot down. Him and Timmer could have been running the exact same settings.
Yeah, exactly. But just not quite getting the launch away. Timosjanov just, well, he pulled a car length before he got to the first corner, didn't he? He was able to tuck across. There's Gronholm into the Joker, and here's the merge. Yeah, Scheider carrying so much speed, easily slotted in front of him then.
Hooking that big curve on the inside. Gronholm did try to find a way through. The other thing, Dan, is of course you get your intercooler full of dirt, which can then affect how much power you've got. You don't really want to run in traffic if you can help it. Timo with little inputs. Good job by him.
Timmer, a good race win, and it looked like a clean race.
Yeah, we have first time the good start from the line. I was have clear run. Nicholas was behind me, but I think I do some mistakes on the track, which has cost me over lap time. And yeah, but I'm happy that I'm finished first in the front of the group of the guys who was minimum Scheider and Nicholas in front of me before. And now I need to see how Q3 will go out, and we still need to work on setup.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Final race of Q2. The big guns in this one. Johan Kristoffersen, 17-18 world champion, winner yesterday of round 1 on the pole. Ekstrom, so close in terms of pace, the 2016 champion in P2. Larsen, backward the runner-up last year. Kevin, P3 last year. New tyres for Kristoffersen in slot number 1. Is that going to give him the start that he craves? Can Ekstrom get him? Listen to the Polo, it's so early on the launch system. Even start the inside. Ekstrom's level with Kristoffersen. Kristoffersen maybe a wheel's breadth in front. Larsen around the outside, gets pushed wide. Ekstrom surely going to go Joker early. He does into the inside, the outside on the limiter. Larsen is in behind Kristoffersen. Kevin Hansen has gone in with Ekstrom. Ekstrom with an absolutely brilliant Joker, gaps him by a few car lengths. So now Kristoffersen's got Larsen behind, and Larsen was super quick last time out, Dan, as well.
Yeah, Larsen was really quick, and he's keeping Kristoffersen honest at this point, and Matthias, with that early Joker now, he's going to be trying to pip them off.
Kristoffersen's now got the problem of Larsen behind him, and I don't think Larsen will try and pass because of trying to get the best times they can. But Kristoffersen can't necessarily Joker early to cover off Ekstrom behind. He's only 2.8 back, because then he lets Larsen go.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, it's a massive advantage for KYB Team JC to have 2 cars in the same race, isn't it? Because now you've got double power going towards Kristoffersen.
Into the joke lap's gone backwards. So Andreas backward trying to cover off Kevin Hansen, but he can't. So backward drops to the back of these guys. Just needs another decent time there to get up into the semis. Kristoffersen's got Larsen right with him. What are the lap times are? We're going to wait for them to come around the end of lap 2. Difference in line up through there. Watch them down the hill. Watch for this bump. Kristoffersen and Larsen both with a handful of opposite lock over the curbs to the inside. Dirt flying up in the background. What's the gap back to Ekstrom? It's 2.5. Ekstrom's taken 3/10 off them. Ekstrom's taken 3/10 off Kristoffersen. Is Kristoffersen going to go Joker now?
He has to go Joker, surely. Surely he's got to go Joker.
He doesn't. He's going to go standard lap. Fastest lap of the day. Larsen 43.5 in behind Kristoffersen. The gap to Ekstrom 2.5. Is he going to bring it down anymore? They'll be on the radio to him, telling him it's going to be super, super close between you. I'm loving this fight between our previous world champions. We didn't know if either of them would ever be back, and they're both back this year. Ekstrom 2 weeks ago. We knew about Kristoffersen a while back. What's that gap? Come on, I'm only looking at the timing. Come on, what's the gap? I want to see. How tight is it? 2.3. Ekstrom's done it by 2/10.
Oh, yeah, but he's still got a couple of corners yet to go. I think they're going to be side by side on the way out. They've also got to be careful with Robin, because they're going to be going into the Joker at the same time.
Kristoffersen and Larsen to Joker now on the last lap. Ekstrom's been hunting them down. The 16 champion will be inch perfect. Fastest lap of the day, Ekstrom. He's on for this, going to take the jump on the inside. Good Joker by Larsen and Kristoffersen. Ekstrom's up the inside and he gets him. Matthias Ekstrom gets Johan Kristoffersen Christopherson. I told you we'd have a fight this year. It was super close yesterday in the dry, and today Ekstrom has proved he's got the pace, Dan.
That's exactly what he needed to do, and that early Joker lap has seriously paid off.
I'm loving it. Yes, we're back. World Rallycross is back. Get some. Ekstrom around the right-hander and up towards the jump. He's 4/10 in front of Christopherson. Larson's dropped back behind Kevin Hansen. But an absolutely epic race between two of our brilliant world champions. Ekstrom does a 3:00.051. That is the fastest time of the weekend to beat Christopherson, yesterday's winner. Fastest lap of the day, 43.3. He had to get that done. He did fastest laps 3 times, I think, out of 4. That is epic from Matthias Ekstrom. Ekstrom gets Christopherson by the tiniest of margins, half a second the other way than it was in the previous one. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Kevin Hansen, super quick with a 3:01.3. Well done, Kevin, right up there. Larson and Andreas Backer with the 3:03. Everybody, Markland is the only one to be as quick as these 5 look, so Markland stays in 4th place. Fantastic. Look at the spread of cars at the top here. Audi, Volkswagen, Peugeot, Renault, backwards up there as well. Amazing.
Matthias, I can see you got a smile on your face. That looked like pretty much the perfect race.
Yeah, I had a decent start and took the Joker straight away and just tried to squeeze the very max what I have, and I could see I was slightly faster, so it was a decent run, but in the end it's very enjoyable to be here.
Thanks, Matthias, well done.
That's not a smile, that's a massive grin. That's the grin you have when you left this series longer ago than Christopherson, when Christopherson is undisputedly the most successful driver in this championship with 21 wins as of yesterday, 2 world titles. But Ekstrom is a world champion. He won the world championship here in 2016. It was his greatest achievement in motorsport, winning this series. And that grin, Dan, tells me that he loves rallycross.
Yeah, that was a massive smug face, wasn't it?
Oh, totally. I'm loving it. I am loving it. Absolutely. What happened to Larson? So where's Kevin? Did Larson just get done at the merge? Did he clip the barrier?
Oh,
yeah, he tapped the barrier. Barrier tap, but that's where Larson's away. See, if he'd gone full throttle into the barrier, he would have spun him round the other way. So he's given up the position to not lose a ton of time. Great decision. Ekstrom, though, absolutely fantastic. What an epic qualifying session here at Hollius, round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Matthias Ekstrom into the TQ spot. It's a win and a second apiece for him and Johan Christopherson. Ekstrom gets it because he was quickest in the last session. Kevin Hansen, P3, Larson 4th. Baccarat and Markland, Timosyanov, Scheider, who's in at the bottom half of the table. Zarbo, Gronholm in. Timmy Hansen only just in. Sebastian Eriksson, last year's winner, desperate to make it through to the final again. Well, for the first time in 2020, we have got some lovely slow-motion pictures for you to look at of rallycross cars doing jumps. Dan, it's good to be back.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be back, and it's fantastic to have these slow-mo pictures. This is one of my favourite pieces of footage to watch through the whole weekend. You really get to see the movements and the inputs of each car.
This is Łukasz Baciuszka for the uncorrupted team. They're in Renault Clios. Of course, Baciuszka we saw was very fast in the Megane. Can he do the same in the Clio? Kevin Hansen over the jump. Now, Kevin, Dan, landing here on the curb, that's quite dangerous because you can push a tyre off the rim.
Yeah, very dangerous. I mean, he got away with it here because this is when the track was a bit damper, so not carrying so much speed over the jump, but in dry conditions, if you hit that at, some pace, you're going to do some damage.
And they actually aimed the line for that jump, or they did aim it on a tree that was on the horizon, but I think they felled those trees in the runoff area on the outside of Velodrome, so potentially some issues for the drivers there. We'll have a wander around the track later and check. Sebastian Eriksson, last year's winner, of course, in the Fiesta, this time running in the Honda, coming close to the marker on the inside, which you get a penalty for. Dan, you've got to get the exit right here because there's a significant acceleration zone after it, but also the barrier on the left.
Yeah, if you don't quite get the rotation of the car mid-corner through the chicane of the Joker lap, you're compromising yourself all the way out into the following corner.
This is the right-hander, I think, before Velodrome, where the curves are pretty high. You can see there's two separate sets. Look at the deflection. You can actually see the vibration through the tyre, but also how effective the dampers are on Timmy Hansen, the world champion's car.
Yeah, that's the great thing about rallycross cars, isn't it? You can hit a curve like that and you see the movement on the wheel, but it doesn't really affect the body at all, does it? It just soaks it all up.
Super slippery conditions on day one. Of course, a double header here in Sweden. Schischrit using a lot of curb there. Is that too much in comparison to what Hansen was doing, or is it a driving style thing?
I mean, in the damper conditions, you do tend to use the curbs to rotate the car a little bit, but I mean, it's then compromised possibly his grip levels on the run out of the corner.
Up and over the crest into Velodrome. Got to find the traction, get the car where you want it to be. This is Liam Doran. And that's the jump at just before the last corner, the big jump. But again, Dan, in these slippery conditions, not carrying the speed, and potentially this looks like maybe Liam's outlap. We saw everyone was getting on the brakes so early for this hairpin, they were crawling around it.
Yeah, so a lot of dirt being dragged onto the tarmac, so really having to be really gentle with the car. You can see Liam riding the brakes in through the hairpin, just careful on the throttle, and then now gently back on the power and squeeze it out the corner.
We've got one qualifying session left to go here in Sweden for round 2 of the World Rallycross Championship. This is how we stand. Matthias Ekström in the TQ spot on equal points to Kristoffersson, but ahead because he won Q2 by the tiniest of margins in a brilliant battle. Kevin Hansen third, Larsen, Backerud, Markland, Timosjanov and Scheider. Zarbo, Gronholm, Timmy Hansen and Gulan Schischrit are just inside the cut-off for the semi-finals. Q3 race 1, Liam Doran on the outside, desperate for a good result. On the inside, Schischrit trying to force his way into the semi-finals. Bit of contact on the run to the first corner with Sebastian Eriksson. That resulted in an investigation. Doran over the jump in the lead. Eriksson almost dropping it at the bottom of the hill. And for Liam, it looked as though things might finally go his way. He's never going to make it through to the semi-finals, but unfortunately, as he headed to the Joker, you can see the green fluid from the back of the car dropping its coolant, and that was Doran out again. 3 retirements from 3, a real shame for the British bomb. Parsonen coming over the jump to the merge in front of Sebastian Eriksson, but it was Gulan Schischrit out front. Long run through the velodrome for the Frenchman. He was in P12 coming into the final qualifying session. Sebastian Eriksson P13, result for Schischrit. On to race 2, Scheider on the inside, Munich on the outside. Gronholm couldn't get the start again, ends up wide in turn 1. Munich making the cut back and going to the Joker early. Gronholm on the back of a train of Scheider, Bachuska and himself. Needed a way through, in desperate need again of a good time. Gronholm down in 10th, not where we're used to seeing one of the World Championship challengers from last year. Put in a fantastic performance at round 1 here at Hollius. In one of the qualifying sessions was absolutely flying, but just having too much of an up and down weekend. He went Joker to escape from Bachuska, but Munich had already got him. A familiar view having followed Scheider previously. Gronholm unable to find a way through. Timo Scheider taking the flag. Race 3 of Q3 coming towards the final stages of qualifying for the World Rallycross Championship round 2. Backerud on the pole in 5th, Zarbo in 9th, Timosjanov in 7th, Timmy Hansen in 11th. Needs a stormer here. New tyres on the car for Andreas Backerud. Backerud versus Hansen for the first time since 287 days ago, I reckon, in South Africa. Good start all the way across the grid, but Backerud's on the inside. Should get the whole shot here. Timmy Hansen drops in, going to make the car back. I reckon Hansen's going to go Joker lap 1 unless Zarbo goes in front of him. Zarbo does go Joker and Timmy goes with him. Andreas Backerud has got Timosjanov behind him. Good Joker for Zarbo. Tidy for Timmy behind him, but maybe held up by Zarbo on the way in. Not the line he would have wanted. Backerud I thought he'd run wide. I thought Timmy was going to have a look, but he didn't. This is good for Andreas. He's got to get pushing on, see if he can get on the front row of the semis. Timmy Hansen in 11th, Dan, will be happy to be in the semis, but he definitely wants to go up a row or two if he can.
Yeah, of course he does. That's not the way he wants his championship fight to start out, is it? With struggling to get into the semi-finals, but oh, bit of a moment for him. Oh, he's on the gas. Send it to me. Come on, keep it together.
Did well there. Didn't lose any time, despite that not being Hansen style. That was Solberg style. I wonder if he might go Joker here, but no, he doesn't. You see, he's staying in behind Zarbo. I guess.
Well, he's already jokered.
Oh, sorry, Joker first time, of course, Dan. Yeah. So really, he's stuck here, isn't he?
Yeah, needs to try and make a move on track.
But if you make the move and it doesn't come off, if it doesn't stick, you've lost even more time.
Yeah, it's a risk, isn't it? But he's just got to be confident that Zarbo's got the pace.
They said, didn't they, they were doing something with the car to see whether or not they could improve it. You know, he's hoping it would be. Oh, Timosyanov's gone round. Timosyanov big sideways. That's going to help out Zarbo and Hansen. They go up the inside.
Something broken on that car, definitely.
Timosyanov in all sorts of trouble. Looked sideways there, didn't it, when he jumped on the gas coming out of the hairpin? Do you think he's broken the front drive shaft, Dan?
Yeah, potentially. We need to look at the characteristics of the car a little bit more, but...
Into the Joker for Timosyanov in the background, so that does help Timmy out. Timmer was where? He was in 7th place, so Timosyanov's going to drop back a bit here. That might see Hansen up a row. Where was Zarbo?
Yeah,
Zarbo
front
was
drive shaft for Timosyanov, sorry. He's just in rear-wheel drive there.
Yeah, it looked, like I say, it looked 600 horsepower through the rear wheels of a car that's not designed for it, isn't ideal.
No.
Difficult to find the traction. The diff will be doing all sorts of things where it's not working in conjunction with the front one. Backerud has checked out. He's 3.4 seconds up the road. Andreas Backerud, runner-up in the World Championship last year. I know his fans at home will be desperate for a good result. I want to see him in the semi-finals. I think he's going to take this one. Andreas going to slide across and shut the door on Zarbo. Lap times are in the 43s. He's done a 43.7 and a 43.5. This is the Andreas Backerud we know. Zarbo and Timmy Hansen behind, not slow, are they? And that's the thing, they went Joker on the first lap, and okay, it wasn't perfect for them, but they're looking quick, Dan.
Yeah, quick enough to hopefully move themselves up the table, especially for Timmy. That's exactly what he needs.
Backward coming up over the jump, looking at a 3:03.5, which is Scheider's time. All these guys standing to get a decent result. He beats it easily, 3:01.5. Timmy Hansen goes out wide to try and get Zarbo, ends up 3/10 off him, but it's a 3:03.4. It's only half a second quicker than Timmy went last time. He was 9th last time with that time, but at the moment, it will see him 3:03. It'll see him up in 3rd place. So Timmy does beat Scheider. Timosyanov obviously doesn't. Timmer's just tickled that round to get it to the finish. Timmer was in 7th place. This is a bad result, but I think he's far enough into the standings that he won't drop out of the semis. Backerud with a 3:01.5, only a second and a half of the pace that Ekstrom won the session with last time. Christian Zarbo P2, Timmy Hansen in 3rd place, and Timosyanov making it round to the finish. Top 3 look, so Hansen slots into 3rd place. Lowest he can be is 8th, and that's if the last one is really fast. So he might have got himself into the semis. Backerud is with Neil.
Andreas, that's more like it. Looks like you'll be in the semis. You happy?
Yeah, it's been a better day too here. Obviously, we have more control over our issues and trying to enjoy it a little bit as well. It's been a lot of work to get here and to finally win some race heats and being up there fighting again. That's pretty nice. So all I can say is big thanks to everybody that supports us now. It's a difficult year for everyone, and we are definitely included one of them. It's just so nice to be able to race again. Race cars is the best job in the world, so it's nice to be here in Hollies.
I agree. Thanks.
Thanks.
Backerud off the line with Zarbo next to him. It was such an even start. Timmy backs out of it early, look. He knows. You see him check the brake there, Dan, and he's going for the inside line. Wants to go Joker. Zarbo's gone, but he knows he can't get up the... It would have been worse to go standard lap and end up outside the other two cars, Timmer and Baccarat.
Yeah, so Timmy learning from his previous race, actually, didn't he? So last time he ended up nearly going straight onto the gravel. There's Timmerjan off with the broken drive shaft.
Didn't see if he clipped the curb on the fast right-hander, but it went after that corner, didn't it? So it was obviously okay on the way in. When he got on the gas, it wasn't okay on the way out. This was okay on the way out, slotting in front of Zarbo and Hansen. Not so bad for Timmy as we thought, because Zarbo was on a flyer as well, and they should all make the semis. 5 of our fastest World Rallycross Championship drivers on the line and ready to go. Let's have a look at the grid for race 4. Ekstrom on pole, Johan Kristoffersen second, Kevin Hansen, Anton Markland and Robin Larsson. We know the Audis have managed to match Kristoffersen's pace. Ekstrom and Kristoffersen are equal on points at the top of the table. One of them is going to take the TQ. Depends who gets to the finish first in this race. Pole in semi-1 and pole in semi-2. They won't meet again until the final, so it's bragging rights until then. Awesome reaction time on the inside from Ekstrom and from Kristoffersen. Ekstrom's right into Kristoffersen, lets him go into turn 1. Kristoffersen gets a push from the rear, Ekstrom does from Hansen. Larsson almost up over the curbs. Into the Joker lap goes Ekstrom. I think Hansen's gone with him, left Kristoffersen out on the standard lap.
Same again for Ekstrom. He knows that he has to get the Joker lap out of the way to give himself the clear laps as well, so he can beat him on outright pace. But this time, he's not got that much of a gap to catch up to the train that haven't jokered. So we've seen a small battle between Larsson and Markland. They've dropped themselves back, and well, Ekstrom's going to need him to get out of the way.
Larsson, with a mistake in turn 1, has basically ended up backing himself a little bit further back than he wanted to be. A mistake now from Markland. Ekstrom hammering the laps in. He'll really hope that they get out of his way. Of course, they have control over Larsson. They could send Larsson to Joker now. That would help Ekstrom out, maybe. They don't, and it's another mistake from Larsson. Ekstrom now into the back of Markland. This is playing into the hands of Kristoffersen. What's the gap between Kristoffersen and Ekstrom?
3.1.
Yes, he's got to find 6/10 already, and he's into the back of Markland. This is advantage Kristoffersen. He won the start, and with that down, I think he's going to get the TQ unless Ekstrom pulls off some sort of miracle.
Yeah, no, this is definitely the hands of Kristoffersen now, because it's going to be so hard for Ekstrom to get past Markland.
All good. We can have the battle in the final. We don't mind. We'll save it for the end of the weekend. They're going to end up pole in semi-1 and pole in semi-2. Basically, they're so far ahead in qualifying with a win and a second place each. Kristoffersen's gap to Ekstrom now is 3.5. Massive send into the first corner. That is fully lit. You rarely see Kristoffersen that sideways.
Yeah, he's Mr. Neat and Tidy normally, isn't he? But he's on a big push. His last lap was a 43.7, which actually Andreas set 43.5. So Andreas could be on for a quick time here.
Ekstrom can't find a way past. Larsson has just managed to get a little way in front of Markland. Kristoffersen going to wait until the final lap. Here he comes. Oh, it's not as exciting as the previous section. I wanted to see another Q2 race, but I say we're going to have to save it for the final, and I'm confident we'll get it when we get there. A side-by-side start for Ekstrom and Kristoffersen, but it will be inside line for Kristoffersen if he gets this Joker lap right. Larsson goes in with him and Markland. Here comes Kristoffersen sliding out. It'll be him with the smile on his face this time round. Kevin Hansen can't quite get in front of Larsson. Larsson's going to flick it the other way. Can he hold on the gas with a big old drift? Gets the inside line. Kevin, I thought, might slot up underneath him into Velodrome. But this time it goes the way of Johan Kristoffersen. He won 2 of the 3 sessions yesterday. Is he going to be fast enough to beat Baccarat? 3:01.5 was Baccarat's time. Kristoffersen into the last corner. Here he comes, looking for the session win. He's got it, 2:59.5, fastest time of the weekend for Johan Kristoffersen. He wins Q3, and with that, will take the top qualifier spot. Ekstrom lost out at the start, jokered early, and it didn't go his way, but a 3:01.560 will see him third behind Baccarat. Brilliant time by Baccarat, and that's going to move him right up the table. He was 5th. I reckon Baccarat might get a front row start in the semis. Kristoffersen, Ekstrom, Larsson, Kevin Hansen and Anton Markland. You can see there Ekstrom slotting in behind Andreas Baccarat. So Baccarat just got that quietly done, didn't he? Kristoffersen winning Q3, and with it, as I say, taking the top qualifier spot.
Looked like that was a big push.
Yeah, it was good feeling. First of all, I had a very, very good start again, and I could get out first. From there on, the car felt much, much better than it did in Q2. We didn't really have the pace there, and I was not sure about the pace of Matthias because he was very fast in Q2, but it's so nice and adrenaline pumping when you really have the nice fight with Matthias, so I'm really enjoying.
You're a top qualifier again.
Thumbs up from Johan Kristoffersen for this amazing start. So he got away from the line fantastic, and I think Ekstrom here would know, but being in P2, Ekstrom now is like, okay, I'm going to go Joker, I'm going to pull the same move again. Unfortunately for him, this time Markland and co weren't quite quick enough. He needed them to hold on to their gap a bit longer and allow him to close it down. So Kristoffersen has said, look, I didn't have the pace in Q2. That's interesting, because if they have found more pace in the Polo, that means it is advantage Kristoffersen. But there's so much psychology here, Dan. You know, he's like, oh, that's good. Yeah, I really enjoy the fight, but I did beat him. And it's all about trying to set your rival up to think ahead. I think a bit too much.
Yeah, they're trying to play the massive mind games, aren't they? And that's one thing about being professional drivers, both Ekstrom and Kristoffersen. They're able to keep their cool, even though they're firing at each other.
The two least emotional drivers, and yeah, looking forward to a big fight later today. Here we go then, standings at the end of Q3. Qualifying done for round 2 of the World Rallycross Championship. Johan Kristoffersen takes his second top qualifier of the weekend with session wins in Q1 and Q3. Ekstrom is in P2. Bakkerud on the front row next to Kristoffersen. Then Larsen on the front row next to Ekstrom. So that will go the way of Ekstrom, I think. Then Kevin Hansen, Christian Zarbo. Great performance by both those drivers. Markland in 7th, Timo Scheider in 8th. Timo's hustling the Seat Ibiza this weekend. Timmy Hansen gets 9th. Gronholm's in 10th. So's Timosyanov. Rennie Munich has made it. So Rennie Munich goes through to the semi-finals. We're ready for the final of European Rallycross Championship. Round 1, Hollius in Sweden. Oliver Eriksson racing at home as his prize drive for being the RX2 champion against JB de Borg, who was runner-up in this series last year. Peter Hedstrom and Andrea de Borg, row 2. Row 3, Ben Philip Gundersen and Pontus Tiedemann. Elbows out. About to give out our first big trophy of the year. Great reaction time from both the front row drivers. Hedstrom trying to find a way through. Eriksson's got the inside line. JB de Borg not going to give it up. Big bump on the inside. Eriksson runs deep. De Borg's in the gravel trap. Eriksson trying to find his way into turn 1 first. He does get there. Pushing out wide into the Joker lap went Hedstrom. And with him has gone Ben Philip Gundersen. Ollie Eriksson got away with that, Dan. The bump, just as he hit the brakes on the run into turn 1, pushed him really deep. Yeah, he got a little bit bullied there, I think, didn't he? A lot of contact all the way around him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he actually got nudged from behind on the way into the corner there. But, yeah, fantastic to keep it together now. Now he just needs to keep his cool and put the lap times in. Andrea de Borg has made it up from row 2, past his brother. So Andrea de Borg in P2, Tiedemann and JB de Borg in there as well. JB wants to take this, going to have to do something with Joker strategy. Yeah, he's back in 4th. He's the last of the guys that hasn't jokered, so he's going to need a small miracle if he wants to leapfrog his way up through. But Ollie Eriksson now, look at this. Look at the gap he's pulled, 1.2 back to Andrea de Borg already. Kevin Eriksson, his brother, of course, has won a round of the World Championship, will be in his ear saying, keep it calm, keep it steady. The gap's gone up 3/10 again. Andrea de Borg 1.5 off the back. Tiedemann 3/10 further, another half second back to JB de Borg. And JB's in trouble here because with Hedstrom and Gundersen having jokered already, he really needs these two to get stuck into each other. Yeah, 100%. But they need to get themselves in the fight, don't they? JB, I think, lost out at turn 1 big time. Eriksson, I say, to me, I don't know if he was late on the brakes or as you say, he got a nudge from behind, but he definitely got pushed deep. And as he got pushed deep, that fired de Borg off the outside. For me, it's a racing incident, but again, we'll look at the replays. I think he's hit the brake just as he's hit a bump. Either that or, as you say, a big shunt from the rear, and he will have felt that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a shunt from the rear. Of course, we'll check it out when we see the replays, but
Well, is that gap coming back down again now? 1.2.
It is. 1 point, so Andrea de Boer's piling it back on. What do you say on the radio now, if you're Kevin? You know, he can win this from here. Remember, you know, he's leading, so it's fine. It doesn't matter what the gap comes down to, as long as he gets out in front of Hedstrom. At the minute, it's the only person behind who's joking. He's got enough time to him. I mean, yeah, there is a... Oh, sideways there. Do you see that over the bump?
Yeah, there's a really bad rut developing there, isn't there, on the exit of the final corner. As the transition from the tarmac to the gravel, the cars have been dipping in and making a big hole. So that's going to start to really affect everybody later on.
They might regrade that before semi-finals. We'll see. Ericsson still leading from de Boer and Tiedemann. JB de Boer can't find a way through, smoking the tyres up, trying everything he can. Hedstrom can't close the gap down on de Boer either. Let's see how that bump affects Ollie Ericsson and draw a spin in the background. Tiedemann's gone round at high speed. Tiedemann dropped to the back of the pack. He's gone. Pontus Tiedemann is out of the fight. He was on for a podium, although Hedstrom was near enough to get the overlap on him. Tiedemann has gone. So Hedstrom now, look, he's only, what, 2.8 off the back, I think it is. Yeah, 2.8 off the back of Andrea de Boer. Hedstrom having joking already. JB's right in it. Oh, JB's got a problem. JB de Boer goes out. So now Hedstrom definitely on for a podium. JB de Boer has got a problem with the car. Was on a go slow, whether it's an intermittent, no, it's definitely gone. Okay, so Ericsson on to the final lap. This time you can see across the front of his screen, RX2 champion, winner's drive. Through that bump, keeps the car straight, keeps it steady. Just got to nail this last lap. Go steady, Ollie, no showboating. He's going in sideways anyway. Andrea de Boer's gone in with him. Great for Andrea de Boer. This is what a recovery after some of the sessions that just haven't gone his way.
This is the form that we've been waiting to see from Ollie Ericsson in a supercar, isn't it? We've seen him regularly competing in Nordic, but we've not quite seen him pulling out the RX2 performances in a supercar.
He had a brilliant race with Johan Kristoffersen in the last round of Nordic. For me, when he was at Hollius earlier this year, he just wasn't firing at all 4 cylinders, but he very much is now. This is the Ollie Ericsson that's destroyed the RX2 field a couple of times. Ericsson wins the European Rallycross Championship at home in Hollius with a fantastic drive. That's what we expect to see from Ollie Ericsson. P2, Andrea de Boer. P3, Peter Hedstrom. Didn't really have quite the fight we thought we'd see there, did we, with JB de Boer having the issues that he did after the start. But nothing to take away from Ericsson. He's absolutely got the job done. 3 out of 4 qualifying session wins. His semi-final and his final. Fantastic. Oliver Ericsson wins round 1 of the European Rallycross Championship 4 Supercars from Hollius in Sweden. Andrea de Boer is in 2nd and Peter Hedstrom 3rd. Gundersen, JB de Boer and Pontus Tiedemann, the rest of your finalists. Problems, of course, with de Boer and Tiedemann during that final. Another look at the start. To watch Ericsson here, and you'll see what I mean. There's an acceleration. If it's anyone, it's Hedstrom, isn't it? So Ericsson on the inside. Yeah.
That's a big hit.
I thought, you see what I mean? That's why I thought it was a bump, because the car lifted up. It's Hedstrom picked him up at the rear.
Yeah, that was a really, really big hit. And he would have known straight away what's just happened.
Yeah. And of course, the bumper off later in the race. So Hedstrom, say, with that little nudge. And unfortunately, the person who came off worst from it was JB de Boer, because it was trying to go around the outside of Ollie. But he's kept his cool there, Dan. It's an impressive performance. I say that's more like it. That's the Ollie that I want to see.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see him carry on in the championship. Obviously, this is his prize drive.
He's got to
come back and try and get the title.
He's got to. This is the 1 year you can do it with 3 entries. In terms of budget, you'll never have a cheaper year in the European Rallycross Championship than this. I wonder if maybe we can find out with Neil, who's with the winner now, if we might see him at any more European rounds this year. Ollie Ericsson, winner here in Sweden.
So a bit of celebration there for Oliver. Oliver, the step up to supercars, and it's the top step of the podium. You must feel good.
That was good. It was a really good weekend. Really sorry to de Boer there for turn 1. It was an even start. We drag race, I outbraked myself a bit and didn't quite get the car turned, so we both went wide there. So I don't know what happened to him, but yeah, sorry to him. But from there I could just put my pace in. Felt really good. These are small mistakes, but my spotter said keep it clean all the time. You have the pace and just stay out there and do your thing. So yeah, it worked.
And to do it at home is great. Well done.
Yeah, this event has been haunting me, you know, the past years in lights and so on. It's always been technical difficulties taking me out, but yeah, now we reached all the way.
Congratulations.
Here are the standings after round 1 of the European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. Ollie Eriksson with the win at home and a maximum point score, 30 points. JB de Borg, despite a bad final with 23, Hedstrom on 20. Then it's Ben-Philip Gundersen right up there in 4th. Andrea de Borg, Evjen, Tiedemann and Brintersen. Problems for Evjen and Brintersen. I think they could have been higher than that, but some fantastic performances throughout the entry. I wonder if we'll see Ollie Eriksson at the remaining rounds this year. Well, we have it confirmed, in fact, that we will see Oliver Eriksson for the remainder of the year. He's going to be a permanent entry for the European Rallycross Championship. And Dan, brilliant performance by him. You know, he'll be on for the title now. There's a bit of added pressure with that.
Yeah, I mean, he came into here not knowing where he was going to lie in the European field. But, well, he's certainly put a stamp on it, hasn't he?
This is a favourite track for OMSE. I think the car is well tuned for here. Obviously, we've got Latvia and another event after that for Euro Supercar. So, yeah, I guess they've just got to make sure, haven't they, that everything is in place and ready for those further events. These guys, of course, are our semi-finalists for round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Some of them have been through this process already yesterday. Timazyanov made it through in 12th yesterday. Today he's in 11th. Ronon was in 4th yesterday. He's down in 10th. Yesterday, Bakra didn't make it. Today, he's up in 3rd. All to play for. Really looking forward to the semi-finals. Don't think it's going to rain, Dan. You did say it tried to just a few moments ago. You were out in the paddock. You caught up with some of the drivers as well from a distance.
Yeah. So there were a few spots of rain around, but I mean, as you can see from our pictures, we do have blue skies and sunshine.
It is hot as well in the commentary box now, so track temperatures coming up. Matthias Ekström is with Neil Cole.
Matthias, pole position for semi-final 2. It looks like the rain's going to hold off. Perfect conditions for Rallycross.
Yeah, it looks like, but looks like the track maintenance has also put a bit extra mud and water on the gravel in front of lane 1, so it will be a very exciting start and into first corner if I can keep the momentum going.
And tell us a little bit about the strategy going into turn 1. Of course, you'll have your teammate alongside you, which must help.
Yeah, it's always good to have a good, strong teammate, but again, we have to focus on ourselves, and I have to do a good start, and after turn 1, try and make a clean heat and just stay out of trouble and drive as fast as we can.
Did you honestly think you'd be on the pace of the regulars having had a year away?
No, not really. Not that fast, but it shows also that what I've done over the years caught a lot of experience, which I now can use, and also the car I knew before. If I would go into a different car, would be different. So I know all the procedures, the systems, know most of the guys in the team, so it's a little bit coming back to my second family in JC and EKS.
Okay, well, good luck. Thanks, Matthias.
Thank you.
We'll carry on down the grid. Now, the car that Matthias is driving, I think, is the car that Christian Zarbo was driving before, and one of the few non-Swedes in the semi-finals is Christian Zarbo. Christian, first of all, you seem to be getting used to this new car very quickly. Congratulations, you're in the semi.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be here. However, I was in the semi yesterday, but in the back row, so for sure it's much better to be in the second row. It will be weird to race against those Audis what I drove last year, but yeah, I could have done some laps in this car already. Still, I missed some confidence and some speed, but I managed to do some good and clean quali runs. So with this 6th place, I'm already over the moon.
Okay, well, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
He's happy with his performance. I think interesting to see Ekström just look super relaxed. He knows the guys in the team. Interesting what he said. He's been away. He knows the car. It's his car. So been away from the sport, but coming back to comfortable surroundings. Maybe not so comfortable in a few minutes' time. We're about to go racing for round 2 of the World Rallycross Championship. Hello from Hollius in Sweden. If you're just joining us, we are here for round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship 2020. We had round 1, that's easy for me to say, yesterday. Double-header weekends, thanks to COVID. We'll be doing that here, and then in Finland, and then in Latvia as well. Yesterday, Johan Kristoffersson took the win in the end, but Ekstrom didn't let him have it easy, and he hasn't let him have it easy today either. Here is the qualifying standings after the 3 qualifying sessions, remember. Ekstrom won Q2, Kristoffersson won Q1 and Q3. There was never more, I think, than half a second between them. No, there wasn't, just checked. So never more than half a second between Ekstrom and Kristoffersson. They will be in their own semi-finals. Kind of hoping they win those so we see them on the front row in the final. Then it's Backerud, Larsen, Kevin Hansen, Zarbo, Markland, Scheider, Timmy Hansen, Gronholm, Timosyanov and Rennie Munich. Odds go to semi-final 1, evens to semi-final 2. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me in commentary is Dan Rook. Neil Cole caught up earlier with Andreas Backerud.
Andreas, it must be a huge relief that you're in the semi-final today, but you're actually in a really good position to fight for a win.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like, those 2 guys up front are have been flying and are flying so far, so it's going to be hard to challenge them. We're still trying to develop a little bit, but we have played our tactics correctly, not been involved in too much of action, and had a good run in Q3, so hopefully we can stay up there fighting. It would definitely be a big relief if we could fight for a podium in our second race with the car. So yeah, all good today. You know, it's been so much work behind it, so it's cool to be here.
And just give us an idea how much of a pleasure it can be to drive this track, Hollius, in a supercar.
I mean, Hollius is okay. It's maybe not the magic weekend this weekend without the 50,000 crazy fans around. But definitely I love this track. It has so many variation. I mean, turn 1, going over the jump into turn 2, the small jump, you have the turn 4 and 5. Everything has different genre at it, and especially down the hill, the first laps you come there, you get goosebumps. I saw you was a passenger with Ken Block the other day. I saw your eyes, and it's going fast, you know. So down the hill, down gear, and over the curve and over the jump. Pitch it into the last corner. It just can't be anything better than that.
Well, wish you well in the semi and hopefully see you in the final.
Thank you. I'm sorry the mask is just up and down all the time. I'm not getting used to it yet.
Well, we have our cars on the line for semi-final number 1 for round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. On the pole, double World Rallycross champion, took his 21st win yesterday. Alongside him, Andreas Backerud didn't make the semis yesterday. Today, he's on row 1. Kevin Hansen on row 2 with Anton Markland had a podium in round 1. Anton, it was taken away thanks to a penalty. And row 3, Timmy Hansen and Timosyanov. Timmy, the current World Rallycross champion, going to need a brilliant start from there. They'll have tactics in mind for him and Kevin as they're both on that inside of the grid. Great start, Kristoffersson, Kevin Hansen to Andreas Backerud, not trying to shut the door on Kevin. Backerud leaves a gap, Kevin comes through it. Kevin runs wide, Backerud's on the inside. Is he going to go Joker? He pushes Timmy Hansen out wide. Backerud and Timmy together again for the first time since South Africa last year, and it's advantage Backerud with Timmy Hansen following into the Joker lap. So those 2 guys going to try and close the gap down now. Out front, it's Kristoffersson with Kevin Hansen hunting him down. Kevin's in impressive form today, Dan.
Yeah, really impressive. He's put in some top times, actually. So he qualified in 5th place, but he's had a 3rd in Q2. So he's really been pumping the times in. Let's see if he can hang on to the coattails of Kristoffersson.
So Timmy Hansen said earlier on today that if the grip is high, that's when they think the Peugeot works best. So can Kevin make the most of that and stay with Kristoffersson? We know that the Audis are on the pace of the Volkswagen in the drying. Kristoffersson managed to get extra by 0.5 of a second. Markland goes joker. This is to try and protect his position. Bakkerud's got him. He might shut the door on Timmy, but not quite. Oh, he's having to look up the inside into the right-hander. Timmy Hansen up and over the curbs. Markland can't quite get him, so Anton down in P6. Andreas Bakkerud making just a little gap. He's got 0.8 of a second on Timmy behind him and helped out by the contact there with Markland.
Yeah, that's given him a little bit of breathing space. He doesn't have Timmy Hansen now fully breathing down his neck, so he can really focus on trying to catch up to the guys in front.
Kristoffersson is a wily operator. He won't cane the tyres or the car if he doesn't have to take the win, because he knows he'll be on pole in the final. That's not to say he hasn't got some new tyres left, Dan, but he said yesterday, didn't he? I wound it in a bit in the last couple of laps of the semi. He'll already be thinking about that. Timosyanov goes joker, trying to find his way into a top 3 position, but he drops down to 5th. Gap between Kristoffersson and Bakkerud just 3.5. So Bakkerud at the minute half a second off being able to take Kristoffersson. Kristoffersson, if he jokered now, our predictor is telling us that he wouldn't get it, but I reckon Kevin Hansen is just about within range of Andreas.
Yeah, I think Kevin Hansen really needs to nail in a couple of laps here. Andreas, he's only half a tenth off of Kristoffersson's last lap time.
Andreas Bakkerud getting his head around that McGann when that car was run by ProDrive. Bakkerud had a test in it, end of 2018, did some laps down in South Africa, and they were really impressed with his pace. There's the gap between Kevin and Andreas, and our predictor is telling us 0.3 in favour of Andreas Bakkerud. Of course, if Timmy gets to the back of Andreas, then that might change things. He might have to start defending. Kevin's going with Johan.
Yeah, he's definitely going with Johan, and well, what a good target to be trying to follow. Timmy is catching up Andreas.
Andreas has dropped time. He's got the gap's gone up to 2.9, I think it is now. Sure, it went up a couple of tenths in that last sector. So Timmy will want to pile the pressure on. At the minute, he's not going to make it through to the final, so he can help his brother out if he can apply that pressure to the Norwegian, his arch rival from last year. Bakkerud slides the car out wide in front of the commentary position while we look at Kristoffersson. Does Kevin go joker? He does. Kevin Hansen to the joker lap now. Watch for Bakkerud on the inside line. Going to straight line the jump. Kevin's coming out across the barrier, going to shut the door. And he does hold on to P2. So Kevin Hansen from row 2 has managed to get ahead of Andreas Bakkerud. That will put Bakkerud on the back row for the final, but Timmy Hansen's right there with him. We know if there's a gap, he'll go for it. He gives Andreas a nudge. Doesn't work out this time. Andreas on a bit of a go, so Timosyanov trying to come around the outside now. Oh, Hansen into the side of Timmer. Timmer sideways, Bakkerud with smoke pouring off the tyres. Markland's on the back of this pack too. Over the jump, Bakkerud's got a whole lap to go. There's a massive scrap here for the final place in the final. Andreas Bakkerud, has he got a problem? He's under huge pressure now, Dan.
Yeah, I'm worried that there might be a slight bit of damage to that car. You can see it's crabbing. That back left wheel could well be facing in. There's tyre smoke the whole time.
So Bakkerud has got an injured McGann. He's desperate to make it through. I think it's from contact with Timmy Hansen. He'll take every defensive line he can. Timmy looking for a way past Timosyanov. Timosyanov might show Bakkerud a bit more respect than the car's now fully broken. Up the inside, Markland passes Timosyanov and Timmy Hansen. Bakkerud's got to hug this curve on the inside line. Timmy going for the high line round the outside. Timosyanov up the inside of Markland. It's a sprint now to the flag. The Russian flat out the wheel. What's that? This parts off Bakkerud's car. Flying in the air. Kristoffersson going to take semi-1. Kevin Hansen behind. Where's Bakkerud? He's on the inside line as we come into the final corner from the commentary position. Markland slides wide. Bakkerud holds on. Andreas Bakkerud through to the back row of the final. Unbelievable action from semi-final number 1. Oh man, I'm loving this weekend. It just keeps on giving. What a drive by Bakkerud to hold on. What a fight between him and Timmy Hansen. No love lost there. Oh, Kristoffersson taking the win in semi-1. Kevin Hansen with him. A big gap back to Andreas Bakkerud. A further 6 or so seconds back to Bakkerud. But how he held on that last lap. Hero drive. But there is some work to do on Bakkerud's car before the final. Neil Cole is with Johan Kristoffersson.
Johan, there was a lot of fighting behind you, but not much trouble for you.
No, I couldn't see anything from behind. I had a very good start, and from there on, car felt the same as it did in Q3, so very happy with that. In the end, I saw Andreas, or I heard Andreas had good pace in the beginning, but then I saw there was some gravel patches around the track, so probably they had a big fight behind, but yeah, let's see what Matthias has done with his tyre strategies for the final.
Don't get it fixed up for the final. Thank you.
Okay, another look at the start. Backward gets a good start, but look at this. He doesn't shut the door down, and I thought he might shut the door a bit more on Kevin. You know, Kevin comes through on the inside. Backward gets a nudge wide. Timmy is outside Backward, and Backward just does what Mats Oman did earlier on in Euro, and just says, well, I'm going out there anyway. So Timmy's behind him at this point. Yeah, we've seen them on track once since South Africa. Markland coming out alongside Timmy. He gets into Timmy. Timmy, I'll tell you what, he had quite a scrappy, didn't he? Markland gave him a nudge from behind. Those guys sideways. We're not seeing any investigations at the minute. Christopherson untouched out front. Here comes Kevin. So Kevin, now look how close Backward is to Kevin.
Yeah, he's really close. But you can look for the contact in behind there. Timmy straight into the back of Andreas. I'm worried Andreas had a problem before that because we see him lose pace rapidly. So it might have more of a problem than just that grabbing on the car.
I'll tell you what, Backward is the master of a three-wheeled race result, isn't he? He did it at Buxtehude in the Focus. There's that wonderful photo of him from free practice with a tyre and a wheel and a bumper in bits, basically, and he held on a heat race. But, I mean, look at that. That is the essence of the FIA World Rallycross Championship, and that is why it's my favourite motorsport in the world, bar none. Brilliant drive by Backward. Incredible action behind him. Wow. Christopherson there, that interview, very, very interesting. I saw some gravel patches. I know there was a big battle behind me. That's what I mean about spare capacity to see what's going on. Yeah, amazing. You know what I mean, Dan? Like, so, yeah, I've come round, I'm leading. Yeah, it's a big gravel patch. He knows that means cars have gone side by side. We're going to have a look back at that race in a bit more detail, and we can see where that gravel got dragged on. Oh, mate. Right. Outside Timoziano, but Markland gets into the side of Hansen in the back. And I'm trying to see the stuff that we didn't see first time around. In fact, the three cars at the back are pretty much unmolested until Backward starts right and clips Hansen. Now, Hansen won't like that. He wouldn't like it, whoever it was. That's not a Hansen Backward thing. That's just a Rallycross start thing.
Yeah, exactly. And well, we saw it earlier in the Euros, didn't we? Now, if you look here, you can see Andreas got a bit of a gap to make up, and he did start to rein it back in. But yeah, I honestly think there was a problem before we saw the contact. So you can see where Timmy managed to start to gain up on Andreas again, and Andreas in this lap actually between Kevin, he lost 7 tenths to Kevin before he went into his Joker lap.
Yes, Dan, he's been studying the sectors. So you think Backward's got a problem. So in fairness to Timmy there, possibly Backward wasn't as quick out the corner as he thought. He definitely wasn't as quick once he got a damaged rear end. Now, Timoziano was super opportunistic there to get in front of Hansen, and actually that held Hansen off Backward. Now, I think if Hansen had been in the back of Backward, look at that, there was contact there, I think, between at least 3, if not all 4 of the cars. Contact through the whole corner.
Yeah, you'll see it again in a minute. Every time they bunch up, it's nose to tail. Not this corner, but the velodrome. If you watch near the velodrome, all 4 cars go one into the other.
Now this, I think it's the right-hander here that Backward really struggled to get turned into. So he's already deep anyway, and then look, he gets a nudge, and because the rear wheel isn't facing the right way, he actually uses the gas to rotate the car there. Yeah, mega car control when you've got a broken car. And Timmy, love it, goes around the outside, but hits the dusty track.
Yeah, so just not on the rubbery line there. You can see bodywork flying through the sky there as well, as Christopherson was, well, really untroubled, wasn't he?
Absolutely epic. What a brilliant semi-final. Yeah, it was lovely. Yeah, 1 and 2, fine, but it was the battle for that. It was the battle for the last place in the final. Champion Fast Start Award, Champion Lubricants, the official lubricant partner of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Yesterday, Johan won that award with 3 fast starts. Today, he's got 4 already. So it's the first car. That's the line across turn 1. Here it is. Christopherson coming across. That's the 4th time in any race, so heat races semi-final, that he's come across that line first. So Christopherson has won both of the Champion Fast Start Awards for the 2 rounds here from Holliers. That continues for the rest of the season. Semi-final 1 from Holliers was absolutely epic. If you've just come into your house or something, you've just gone in the lounge and you missed it, you best get a rewind on. It was a mega one. So this semi-final 2 has got a little bit to live up to compared to their first one. Let's take a look at the grid. On pole, Matthias Ekström, the only man to have beaten Johan Kristoffersson on track this weekend. He won Q2. Of course, well, not necessarily beating him in the same race. I'm looking today, I think they were in the same one today, but he's beaten him on times. Next to him, Robin Larsson, their teammates. Will there be a plan into turn one? Christian Zarbo and Timo Scheider on the second row. Timo's got new boots. Zarbo just a pair of new tyres on the left-hand side. Bringing up the rear, Niklas Gronholm and René Munich. Gronholm and Zarbo on that inside line, able to capitalise on if their start doesn't go well. Munich and Scheider should have a plan together on the outside. But it's Larsson and Ekström who I reckon will have planned this. It's a good start by both. Ekström's gone backwards, so Larsson's going to try and get him into turn one. Matthias pushes him wide. Larsson with the whole shot. Ekström into turn one with him. Gronholm trying to go all the way around the outside of Timo Scheider, and he's up behind him again. Still can't quite get through. Niklas pushing so hard, but Timo Scheider's got in front of him again, Dan, and he's going to have to pass him if he wants to get through to the semi-final.
Yeah, but I think we're going to see him fighting that little bit harder now because we're in the semi-final stages. You know, he can't afford to just sit behind him. We saw him all over the back of him in the qualifying races, so now he's going to push his way through.
Big job now for KYB Team JC. What do you do with Ekström? Ekström is your man who I think has been bang on the pace of Kristoffersson. That not to say Larsson can't do it, he definitely can. But if Ekström's going to want to be on the front row too, so his spotter has to decide whether he goes now and risks ending up behind Scheider, or whether they try and gap those guys behind. I think he's going to stay on the standard lap this time round. He does.
Well, yeah, the gap's only 2.6, and that's not enough, so he would drop back into Scheider there. So those two need to work together. The spotters will be getting their heads together and telling them, you two need to make up time now, push hard.
Yeah, stop fighting. Almost going to train. It's like if you both want to make it to the final, you need to train this now, and you can only do that when you've got teammates out front, Dan.
Yeah, exactly, and well, it's a massive advantage because effectively they've got control of the race right now.
Will they take advantage of it, though? You know, will either of them get greedy and go for the win? We don't know how long Ekström's in for this season. I'm desperately hoping he's going to do the whole season. Look how close Larsson is to that barrier on the inside. Zarbo just 1.4 off the back of the leader. Larsson with a big flick into the first corner. So Zarbo just can't go joker at the minute because Scheider is there again. Timo Scheider yesterday managed to get himself through into the final, ended up fourth. Penalty, Munich's out. Penalty yesterday for Mark, and Scheider got a podium. So Timo's on it. He's really being tidy with the Ibiza and getting the most out of it.
Yeah, and well, he doesn't have too much pressure behind him either. Well, he's got Gronholm, of course, but those two seem to be going together. In fact, look at the gap between Scheider and Gronholm. They could get both of the Audis at this rate.
So they need to be very careful out front with the tactics. They maybe won't have spotted the danger. Gronholm is 6/10 off the back of Scheider. Out the commentary box window, he's there, but he's not giving him a push. Gronholm showing in his mirrors. Larsson and Ekström still stay on the standard lap. Where's Zarbo going to go? Zarbo too. Zarbo's going to get eaten up by these guys. So look at this. This is Ekström back to Scheider, P2 back to P4. Wow, yeah, okay, it says Ekström, but that's like side-by-side business at that point. That would give Ekström the inside line for the right-hander into Velodrome, but he will know how close it is. He's raced against Scheider so many times before in DTM, of course. Scheider won't give it a centimetre to him, will he?
No, of course he won't. It's the semi-final time. He needs to be as far up that grid as possible.
Gronholm still can't find a way through. Scheider is still putting in laps that are keeping him within range, certainly of a spot in the final. Zarbo falling back closer to him. Scheider is just 2.1 off the back. Larsson to the joker. Ekström to the standard lap. So where's Larsson going to come out? He's going to come out in front of Scheider. So Scheider in behind him. Now they could back. They won't. Larsson's going to want to win this. Larsson wants to be on the front row.
Yeah, absolutely. They've played the tactics right there. They waited until Larsson had the gap, so that releases Matthias, so Matthias can now charge and then get the gap himself.
So can Matthias get the edge on his own teammate Larsson? He's got one lap to do it in. Where's Zarbo going to end up? Scheider at the moment is looking on for a place in the final. Ekström's got to absolutely smash this lap out, and Larsson will be doing everything he can to not give the 10th away. This is it. Lap 6, last lap joker for Matthias Ekström. Will it be front row start alongside Kristoffersson, or is he going to have to give best to his teammate Larsson? In he goes. Into the left-hander, Larsson's over the jump, Larsson's got him. Larsson is going to win this semi-final. Ekström stops him behind. Scheider gets Zarbo, so Timo Scheider going to get through Zarbo. Zarbo's late on the brakes, gives Scheider a little nudge in the background. Larsson and Ekström are absolutely nose to tail. This is epic.
Yeah, really epic, but now those two Audis now, at least they've got a little bit of control of one side of the grid.
Smoke off the back of Scheider's car. Scheider's got a tyre smoke on the rear. I think, yeah, bodywork rubbing, he's okay. Zarbo looking up the inside of Scheider in the background for the last spot. Ekstrom goes out wide. Zarbo looking, but he can't quite find it. Scheider's going to come early on the brakes. He gets a couple of pushes in the background. Sideways over the line, but Scheider just takes it. Incredible fight in both semi-finals for that P3. Your front two rows you knew before the end of the race, but my goodness me, third place was hard fought for. Those two guys on the back row in the final so deserved to be there. Larsen beats his teammate Matthias Ekstrom. Timo Scheider going through in third place with a fantastic drive in the Seat Ibiza. Zarbo, Gronholm and Munich not going to make the cut today. Wow. Great drive by Timo Scheider. I know the fight was out front, but Scheider in the Ibiza, it's probably not the car that Zarbo's got underneath him, but Scheider drove that brilliantly.
And he had the added pressure of Gronholm behind him.
Yeah.
It's not like he was on his own.
No. Another look at the start. So look at this, Ekstrom moves out, Larsen moves in. So they're shutting the door, aren't they, on the gap behind them. Fair go. But I think Ekstrom would have been hoping to get the better start. Ekstrom maybe got a push from Zarbo on the way into there. And then Gronholm was so hoping, wasn't he, that Scheider wouldn't go in front. But, you know, where earlier on today I think I would have said that maybe Gronholm had the measure of Scheider, I have to say I think in this one Scheider had the measure of Gronholm.
Yeah, that gap didn't really come down at all, really, did it? So Scheider putting in the lap times where he has to. This is Robin's Joker. Typical Robin style. Yeah, it was fully sideways. He comes out behind Zarbo. Scheider at this point knows he's seriously in the mix because he may not know which of the cars it is at that point. There's a hell of a lot going on for him, and obviously from the rear, no number that he'll be visible for. The liveries are pretty similar. You see grey roof, red roof. Again, Scheider can't see that. And Ekstrom coming out one lap, not quite enough to get past it. Tim Zarbo was a bit naughty in the last corner there for me. Yeah, trying to get that final place.
Epic semi-finals. Here are the championship standings as we stand. Kristoffersson on 52, Ekstrom on 46, just 6 points behind. Larsen in the mix now. Brilliant stuff. Stay with us. So warnings, we're seeing a warning track marker for Zarbo, doesn't matter because he hasn't made the cut. In fact, we're seeing a penalty for Zarbo. So Zarbo's been given a 5-second penalty, which will drop him behind Gronholm, won't it? Looking at it.
Yep.
We have got the Project E final coming up for you next. So we're going to have a look back at some of the qualifying action. First time we've ever seen these cars, of course, alongside the World Rallycross Championship. Just the 3 cars here this weekend. We were hoping for 4, but unfortunately the Citroen Sport car couldn't be with us in time. This was the start, I'm guessing, from Q3, Dan. Ken Block doing a good job. You know, all these guys, we've got Natalie Barrett going into the joke lap on the first lap, but we've got Ken and Hermann Neubauer out front. Ken Block, I don't think you need an introduction to Ken. Hermann Neubauer twice, an Austrian rally champion, once in R5, once in WRC, so he knows what he's doing. Ken, no mean peddler, he really is. You know, I think a lot of people underestimate and think he's a showboat. He's not. He's actually very quick, Ken. And doing a good job in the Project E car. He's loving driving it. We've seen him, of course, in the electric Mustang as well for Ford. It's Ford who basically have sent him here to do this. Obviously, the starred Ford Fiesta ERX is based on the Ford Fiesta chassis, which we know Ken loves. Yeah,
this is one of Ken's favourite cars to drive, isn't it? It's what he's done, you know, all of his Gymkhana videos in.
Yeah. And he admits himself, of course, that this is a bit different. And, you know, he's had to learn how to get the most out of the car. The weight balance is very different from an ICE supercar. You've got the battery down the whole of the right-hand side of the car, 2 motors in the rear, 1 in the front. Unbelievable torque. It's over 1,000 Newton meters of torque, and that torque is available instantly.
Yeah, it's not like an internal combustion engine where you have to wait for the power band to come in. It's as soon as you touch the throttle, it's like a switch. So it's instantly there, instant wheel spin, and it's 1,000 Newton meters of torque driving through the wheels.
Ken Block won Q1 yesterday. That was after Neubauer was given a penalty. Neubauer won Q2 yesterday, and then today Q3 and Q4 both went the way of Ken Block. Looking at the times, it was 3:11 for Ken in Q1, so he's only 9 seconds off Kristoffersson's time. And then in Q4 it was a 3:14, so a little bit further back, between 9 and 15 seconds, so a couple of seconds a lap. That's what we expect. These cars designed to be around the pace of a World RX supercar, just a little bit behind. And then the headline category for electric, which in theory joins the World Rallycross Championship from 2022, I think, mixed in with the internal combustion engines. Been a few changes, obviously, thanks to COVID-19. Those cars will have as much, if not a bit more power than the World RX cars. So lots of electric stuff going on. We've got ERX2 coming next year as a support category instead of RX2. We've got a Project E, the first ever final, coming up for you now. Beautiful day here in Sweden for round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Alongside us this weekend, we've had European Rallycross Championship for Supercar and, of course, the debut for Project E. First ever final for the Project E category. So 3 cars on the grid. We'll be hoping that we know that grid's going to grow later this year. We're going to end up with 4. I'm looking forward to seeing the Citroen Sport R5 modified car using the Project E drivetrain. Ken Block is your top qualifier. The Hoonigan himself on the pole position. Next to him, Herman Neubauer. And on row 2, Natalie Barrett, ex-WRC driver. She used to drive a Hyundai WRC car in World Rally events as well as national events in the UK. Very much enjoying her debut in this. Neubauer and Ken Block looking for the win off the front row. Oh, tyre smoke coming in a little bit late for both. It looks like a good start for Ken Block, feathering the throttle off the line and just about managing to get in front of Neubauer into the first corner. On the brakes now and heading through turn 1. Natalie Barrett goes with them. And Dan, I'm pleased to see that. I want to see Natalie follow these guys and maybe pick up where they're just gaining a bit of time. Yeah, because we've seen her through every qualifying session go into the Joker lap on the first lap. Now that means she's got, you know, quite a big gap then to the guys in front of her. And you know, she will admit she's not been fully on the pace of. No, she hasn't competed for years. She said it's been absolutely years since she was competing. She did say as well she's loving going sideways, and we've actually seen her sideways in loads of places. But you could see there where she kicked the car out sideways on the right-hander before the velodrome and just lost a bit of time. And Dan, you've done it yourself. If you lose a start, if you lose a start to someone faster than you don't necessarily try and out-tactic them because it's the one chance you get to go, right, where are you doing it to me?
Yeah, and the advantage is, of course, you've got the brake lights in the back window. You can see exactly their braking points. Yeah, well, are they left footing? You know, what are they doing to balance the car? Is it handbraking? You know, what are they up to? There's Natalie up and over the jump. Needs to straighten out that line slightly. You've got to get close to the curb, haven't you? Maybe a bit more curb on either side. Look at Neubauer. Oh, Neubauer's got a problem, has he? Or is he just lighting the as a puncher, is it? I don't know. Neubauer with the rear right's got a problem. So Herman Neubauer, hard to see if it's just tyre smoke or what, but he's losing time to Ken Block. The gap's suddenly gone up from nothing up to 2.8. He just looked to light up the rear right, didn't he, really hard? Of course, there's 2 motors in the rear. Go on, Dan, what do you see him? I thought I could see... It's hard to tell because I think the bodywork's quite wrapped around the tyre there. I thought I saw a puncher, but I'm not too sure. We've got lots of investigations going on for semi-final number 1, apparently. There are so many things being investigated, they can't even list them all on the timing screen. So, oh, here we go, semi-final 1. 1 and 7 contact under investigation. That's... Timmy and Timozhanov. Yeah, Timmy and Timozhanov. Then we've got 1 and 13. That's Timmy and Bakarud. That's under investigation. Semi-final 1. The other one was 92 Anton Mark and the warning for track markers. Don't think that matters. So Ken Block with a massive lead now. Whereabouts is Natalie Barrett and Herman Neubauer, because Natalie should be closing Herman Neubauer down. She's gone Joker because she was catching up with Herman Neubauer. That's actually not a bad tactic, Dan, because if she's got to pass him on track, you know, she could have to get physical to get that job done. She's gone Joker because she was gaining on him so quickly. In the final corner now, in the distance, you can see Natalie Barrett chasing down Herman Neubauer. Neubauer definitely with an issue. Now, Dan, we're going to have to do a lot of learning about the electric drivetrains. You know, I have a good understanding of how the motor side of things work. And there we go, Neubauer goes Joker, trying to protect the position, but Barrett's got him. So Natalie Barrett up into P2. Into the right-hander now. Neubauer obviously will try and go with it. Christian Solberg is Barrett's spotter. Ex-Mitsubishi driver, of course, who actually did some rounds of World RX as well. If it wasn't World, it was definitely Euro RX. I'm sure he was in with Albertech Racing, if I remember correctly, and Andy Scott's team. Love to see Albertech back. I think they might be going racing again in the British Rallycross Championship.
So a bit of a demonstration drive now for Ken Block. As long as he gets this right, he's got another lap to go after this. Takes it tight in there. Dan, you can hear a little bit of transmission clatter when he tapped the brake there.
Yeah, that's something you wouldn't normally hear from the internal combustion engine cars, because of course you've got the anti-lag which would overrule that. But yeah, that's where, you know, everything's becoming unlocked because he's on the brakes.
Yeah, now you hear it in the car, don't you, sometimes, even despite the noise. If you're off the throttle, and you can hear then that clatter of straight cut gearbox and things, and also sometimes it gives you a clue if you're locked up. You know, you're listening as well as feeling.
Yeah, that's probably one of the main noises you hear if you lock up. You can hear
noise.
Yeah, clunking. It's trying to unlock effectively, but yeah, that's...
It's not the best noise, particularly if you're about to collect the person in front of you on the way into Devil's Elbow at Liddon Hill or something, you know, like if you're at that point. Ken Block has just got half a lap to go. He looks much more comfortable in this car. He's got a few more laps underneath him. 20 laps testing, of course, flying in from the United States. So grateful that he took the time to come all the way across to Europe to be here. He loves this track. That's no secret. Natalie Barrett in P2. She's got a good 10-second advantage over Hermann Neubauer. But yeah, so problem for Neubauer, and what I'm interested to know is, you know, if he's lighting up the right rear and there's two separate motors at the rear, I need to try and get my head around it. Is each motor for each wheel? Are they across a single diff in the back? I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, no, I know. It's two motors on one transmission. But Ken Block, brilliant performance by the Hoonigan. Big old drift around the final corner. Careful, Ken. Just about gets it over the line. Big handful of opposite lock, fantastic looking car, and a legendary driver takes the first ever Project E win. Natalie Barrett is going to get P2 on her debut in the series and looking really confident in the car. Her confidence has grown all weekend. Great to have Natalie along, and Hermann Neubauer in the third Project E machine coming around the final corner now to take the checkered flag. Small problem for him in the final, which robbed us of a bit of a battle. But a good job by Neubauer, who won Q2 earlier on this weekend. So it's Ken Block who takes the first ever Project E event, 8 championship points. At this point, of course, they've scored championship points through the rest of the weekend. They can't get a 30 because they didn't have semi-finals. So 16 for TQ and 8 for the final. Natalie Barrett is in P2 and Hermann Neubauer in third. So this was the start. I'll say at some point there was a problem for Neubauer at the rear, and I know, because I've been to the Stard factory, that both motors go into the single transmission in the rear. I say that's what we've got to get our heads around is, you know, he might have broken a shaft. And Dan, the amount of torque that these cars have got, I think that's going to, you know, they've said to me, Stard said to me, if you wanted to, you could program an electric rallycross car to effectively just break all the drive shafts off the start line. That's how high you can get the torque to go. And it's about drivability, and we know Stard have had some brilliant results. They've actually won rallycross events against internal combustion engine cars with Manfred Stoll at the wheel. Of course, Manfred, WRC legend, did a load of World RX as well. He's company owner and development driver for Stard, for Stoll Racing. And Stard is a kind of a sub-company with Michael Sakovic building these cars. So you'd expect him to have his head around it, but a bit harder work for these guys to learn how to drive them. Good to see they've got their head around it during the course of the weekend, and Ken Block is your first ever Project E winner.
So Ken, you go down in the history books as the first ever event winner in Project E, the first ever electric rallycross car. How was it?
It was really fun. Quite a big challenge. It's such a different setup, and we were chasing setup and changing things all weekend. And yeah, I think I'm 10% of the way there, getting it fully set up. But, you know, it was a lot of fun. It was great being a part of something that's the future, and I think it has great possibilities. It still has a ways to go, but I think as far as the starting point, they're well on.
But I also think you will have helped Stard to help develop the car to take it to the next step of rallycross too.
Yeah, I think that, you know, it's one thing getting a car out on a test track, but it's a whole nother thing putting it on an amazing track like the track here in Holius and putting it through its paces and really seeing where it stands against the other cars in the class, but also even benchmarking against the supercars. Supercars have been around for decades, so this is not going to be that instantly, but they've done a great job making a great base to start from.
And so have you. Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thank you. Very happy.
What a great ambassador Ken Block is, and you can just tell that everything he said there is bang on the money. You know, Stard are here, they've put the car to its paces on a very tricky rallycross track here, one of the classics. And also Ken driving the car instead of Manfred, you know, so they've had to do some tweaks, Dan.
Yeah, they've different driving styles, different preferences.
Yeah, different, yeah. He wants it to feel a certain way. Take a look at the standings after round 1 of Project E. Ken Block with the win and 24 points. Herman Neubauer and Natalie Barrett on 19 points each. Sunshine here at Hollius as we await the main event. We had one main event yesterday. It was good. It rained a little bit. But, okay, we're gonna have a look back at the last couple of laps from semi-final 1 because of the sheer number of investigations that are underway on our timing screen. Here we go. Right, backward on the standard lap. Kevin Hansen comes out. Kevin, flying under the radar, has done an absolutely brilliant job. Yesterday, Kevin was where? Looking down my list, he was semi-final. Of course, he went out in the semis, didn't he? So he qualified, I think, in 8th place, did he? I can't remember. No, don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doing a good job today, looking at too many sets of results in front of me. This is backward now, with the smoke pouring off the rear of the car after the contact from Hansen. Timozyanov doing a great job to get past. This fight was epic, Dan.
Yeah, really epic, and you can see here all 4 cars making contact with one another, but somehow all managing to get around the corner. Normally when they're locked together like that, you can't move.
Backward really held them up there. Now, there's two parts to that. One is obviously he's got to keep the car into the curb or he's a goner. You can't let it run wide anyway. He does it again in the right-hander coming up, which was much harder to get it turned into, partly because he gets a nudge in the rear. So you can see he's trying to turn left now. Look, he's going straight on. Nudge in the rear, on the gas, and he straightens the car out using it. If he hadn't done that, he'd have just been pushed off to the side of the track.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, well, he's got experience in driving cars with bent rear wheels, doesn't he? So,
look at Timmer. Timmer was like on a mission, was he? He's like, I'm going to pass everyone. I actually thought that was backwards wheel at the first shot. As we pulled out on that shot, I thought backwards wheel might have come off. It looks like the wheel arch liner. Christopherson took it. I say Kevin Hansen, just brilliant job right in amongst it. Markham ran wide at the last corner, and Timmy Hansen got up the inside. But backwards somehow managed to get that car to the finish. So Backward should be on the back of this grid. We in commentary can see the car starting to pull up to the start line. They're about to do their pre-grid tyre warm, tyre clean. Can't wait for this. It's the last race from the Hollius doubleheader. Johan Kristoffersson, the winner of round 1 yesterday in atrocious conditions, but we know the others are closer to the Volkswagen in the dry weather that we've got today. Larsen beating Ekstrom to turn 1 from this grid position, let's not forget. Got it off the line and squeezed Ekstrom. He was around the outside rim, which puts you on the inside into the first corner. Can he force Kristoffersson to go Joker on lap 1? Could he put him in traffic? Can he beat him on outright pace? Ekstrom managed that earlier on today in Q2. Ekstrom tyre warm. Here we go. Oh, okay. Dan.
Maybe not quite got the RPM right there, but he's already done his launch, so he's not allowed to have another go at it. I don't think, anyway, although he's rolled forward to the second line within the zone there. So that means that's the end of the tyre warming zone. So I can't imagine he's going to be doing another launch.
So Ekstrom then, is he going to try a small launch from down there? He's towards the end of that. In theory, Dan, he's got to be done by that second line, hasn't he?
Yep.
Is he struggling to restart the car? Don't rob us of a brilliant fight. Come on, Matthias. Oh, has he had a mechanical on the pre-launch? No, he starts the car right. Ekstrom gets it up to the line.
Or is he playing mind games?
Well, you just don't know with Matthias, do you? What I do know is that Monster Energy, GCKRX Cartel have managed to get that car fixed. And like I said to you, okay, I think, look, if I'm honest, I think you're going to have to pick a winner from the front 3, maybe Kevin Hansen. I think Backward and Scheider have got it all to do from the back of the grid. But they have fought so hard. That was a knuckle-dusting punch-up to get to the back of this grid. Now you're there, it's like, okay, I'm all in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, they're not holding back, are they? They're going to be hoping for a little bit of drama up in front of them, so it gives them that little bit of advantage.
They could get that. I don't think there's going to be many quarters given. The only people who might give each other a bit of space really are Ekstrom and Larsen, but they're on separate rows. You quite fancy Ekstrom for an early joker, don't you, from there, depending on what the two in front of him do. But if you get Ekstrom and Kristoffersen go together, but then Larsen, if Larsen could get away, there's a bit of damp on the inside for Kristoffersen. Well, we'll see. Here we go. Final time for round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship from Holjes in Sweden. Johan Kristoffersen took the win yesterday. Can he do it again today? Robin Larsen, of course, won a round of the World Championship back in Argentina. Could he get his second win here at home in Sweden? Mattias Ekstrom and Kevin Hansen on row 2. Ekstrom's had brilliant pace this weekend. Kevin too. And on row 3, the fighters, Baccarat and Scheider. They've really earned their place at the back of this grid. Can they earn a podium? Can they earn a win? Final time for the green light here at Holjes in 2020. Good start, Kristoffersen, great start, Larsen alongside, and Larsen puts a squeeze on him. Kristoffersen in towards the curve, has he got enough room to get through? Goes deep, Larsen off into the gravel, Kristoffersen's gonna go standard lap. Ekstrom goes joker straight away, and I think it's Kevin Hansen that's gone with him. So it's Kristoffersen on the standard lap with Larsen right behind. Ekstrom's joker was absolutely fantastic as well. Larsen into the side of Kristoffersen, gives him a push. So he's alongside Johan, gonna have a look up the inside into Velodrome. Not quite there, Johan having to smoke the tyres. Larsen's fully underneath him on the run down the hill.
Larsen's in attack mode now. This fight between those two is slowing him up, and Mattias has already jokered, and look, 2.5 back.
So Ekstrom is 2.5 back. Kristoffersen now has to stay out front, and it may well be that they'll stay on to Larsen, say just keep piling the pressure on, make him shut the door, make him lose time. Kristoffersen is in, Ekstrom is in behind Baccarat. Baccarat's maybe got a problem. Ekstrom trying to go around the outside. In the background of your shot, he does. He passes Baccarat around the outside. Into the joker lap goes Larsen. Ekstrom over the jump. Ekstrom is up into P2, having jokered on the first lap. Everybody went on lap 2 to try and cover Ekstrom off, and he got the whole lot. There's one man left, and he's 2.5 seconds down the road.
This is now just a straight fight for pace. They've both got clear track. It's 2.5. Kristoffersen, what can they do? We saw Mattias.
It's down to 2.3, Dan. Right, Kristoffersen's got to get his head down now. The advantage he has now is there's no one behind him. There's Tommy and his engineer. So the guys from KMS running the car, they will be saying to him, you've got to get your head down, you've got to put perfect laps in. Come on, Johan, big push now. So Johan will wait, undoubtedly, because they're not right behind him. And he's got a 10th. Johan takes a 10th back. This is an epic fight.
Our predictor's saying half a second to Mattias Ekstrom, but that depends on how much Kristoffersen can nail his joker lap, because we know he can pull out the bag when he needs it.
Yeah, he can. He did an absolutely stunning joker earlier when he needed it against Ekstrom. Gap 2.4 is going to get updated again any second now. Maybe we're going to see different sectors. It's 2.2. There we go. You can see his engineer looking at it and counting the tenths down. Mattias Ekstrom is making this an epic battle. But there are 3 laps to go, Dan. Kristoffersen's got to stay out. They cannot send him unless the gap is big enough. They may just have to wait. It's 2.1. It's 2.1. Ekstrom's pushing so hard. The 2016 World Rallycross champion is desperate for a win at home in Sweden.
This is a battle between the two drivers that can really bring 110%. Is who can bring it the most.
Big slide from Kristoffersen. Going to have to tidy it up. He takes a 10th. Back off Ekstrom again. Everybody has jokered. There's nothing to play for here except for the win out front. You can't bet against this guy. 21 wins. He's the most successful driver in the history of the World Rallycross Championship. If anybody can respond to the pressure of Ekstrom, it is Kristoffersen. These two are the two who can operate with no emotion. This is outright pace and talent. He's gapped him. 2.7. Kristoffersen fights back.
They've told him on the radio, haven't they? They're like, okay, turn it up. You need this. Fastest lap of the day.
Oh, wow. There we go. Okay, now they're looking at the times. Now they're looking at the gaps on the timing. Got a phone in front of them so they can be at the side of the track. Remember, they can't come in the spots down. 2.3. Ekstrom takes 4/10 out in the middle sector on the way to Velodrome. We're heading up to the last lap now. Tyre smoke for Larsen. Kevin Hansen trotting around the outside of Larsen in the background. Wait to see where they are coming down the hill. Kevin's got him. Kevin Hansen up to P3. It's going to be a podium for Hansen at home. Problems for Larsen at the rear end, but back to the fight at the front. Scheider goes past Larsen too. Kristoffersen now going to joker. Here we go. Into the right-hander. He's on the limiter. Flicks the polo back the other way. Fastest lap of the day, Ekstrom. Oh my goodness me. 43.0 over the crest. Ekstrom's going to edge Kristoffersen. He has to slot in behind. Epic battle.
Come on, Matthias, that's exactly what we needed. Now you just got to keep it together for half a lap.
Come
Don't
on,
crack
Johan.
under that pressure.
Have a look back at him. Come on, Johan. Big push. This is a battle of the two of the greatest drivers in the history of this sport. Ekstrom has thrown down big time. Kristoffersen responded. Ekstrom came back at him again. Kristoffersen looking up the inside. He's all crossed up in the polo. Gonna try and straighten out, get to the line first. Ekstrom comes off the inside line. Matthias Ekstrom from Johan Kristoffersen by a 1/10 of a second at Hollius, with Kevin Hansen on the podium behind. This is an epic final. That's got to be one of the best battles we've ever seen. That the world title fight is on big time. Oh, whoa, 1-1.
Whew. Take a breath, everybody.
Yeah, man. Epic. Just unbelievable. Warning for number 3, Kristoffersen.
He was feeling the pressure. That's the first time he's hit a track marker all weekend.
Okay. Result of round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Matthias Ekstrom takes the win by 1/10 of a second. That was a brilliant battle between him and Johan Kristoffersen, who have got to be two of the greatest emotionless drivers. They're machines. They responded to 1/10 of a second to each other. Ekstrom gets it this time. It was Kristoffersen yesterday. What a wonderful fight. Kevin Hansen got P3. There is Ekstrom in his car. This is going to mean so much to him. He's been away from the sport even longer than Kristoffersen. It is his 11th career victory, and that puts him second on the table of all-time winners to Johan Kristoffersen. 21 to Johan, 11 to Ekstrom, 10 to Solberg, 9 to Timmy Hansen, 7 Andreas Backer, if you're wondering. Kristoffersen's been given a 5-second penalty. No!
Oh, no.
Oh, no! Kevin Hansen second. Fair go, Kevin. Well done. Right, let's get back into this fight. Look at that. Kristoffersen was hard on Larsen in the first corner.
Yeah, but he had to, didn't he? He had to make a stamp and make sure he got out first.
I'm in awe of that fight that we've just seen. I hope you guys are at home as too. That's tense. You know, you look at F1 in terms of tense. Not anymore. Rallycross, 1/10 of a second between the Audi and the Volkswagen of Ekstrom and Kristoffersen. Absolutely everything on the line.
I just remembered as well, Matthias got held up by Baccarin. So
you passed him around the outside, yeah.
With that,
well, we might see that now. So, oh no, this is later in the race. Larsen broke maybe I don't know, looked like he broke maybe a rear shaft, didn't it? Because Kevin went round him easily. Well, okay, not easily. Kevin, that's a big balls pass around the outside of a 6th gear corner. Go on, Kevin. Right, is this where Johan touches the track markers? Maybe on the
big
inside
cut.
there.
That was a big cut.
Oh, wow. He had it all on the line to try to get back past. I have absolutely loved the racing between these two this weekend. Look at this. If he'd had that straight over the crest, I think he'd have gone for it. And then here, look, Ekstrom is so clever. He's just covered it off, and Ekstrom lets the car run wide, so Kristoffersen can't straighten out. It was a brilliant fight. Okay, look at Kevin. Kevin, P2, thanks to the penalty for Kristoffersen. But the penalty's irrelevant. It was an epic, epic fight. That might be the most epic fight we've ever seen in the World Rallycross Championship for a win. So we've got very few media here this weekend, but you can see the photographers down there. I reckon Ekstrom's going to be emotional about this one. Maybe not right now, but this will mean the world to him. You know what, him and Johan, I really hope that Matthias sticks around. How can he not, Dan? How can he not now commit to the rest of the season and commit to giving you guys at home the most epic? We thought last year was brilliant, and it looks like this year could be just as good, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So we're watching the last 2 laps here now. See how the battle unfolded. I want to see where Matthias clipped those barriers, the markers. We saw him hit one on the inside of the Joker lap. But
Kristoffersen, you mean, yeah?
Kristoffersen, yeah, sorry.
Kristoffersen was not so sideways through there. In fact, that was about right. There was one lap where I thought he was maybe, but like he gapped Ekstrom, didn't he, big time? And then Ekstrom, where the hell did a 43.0 come from? Because previously, yeah, Kristoffersen did a 43.3, which was the fastest lap of the weekend, wasn't it? And then Ekstrom goes, yeah, I'm just going to take another 3/10 off that on lap 5 of the final. Lap 5, Don't forget, Ekstrom was in semi-final number 2, so in theory, everything on the car is just that bit hotter than it would be. But it was this was a battle royale between two of the best we've ever seen. I think Kristoffersen got it in and out.
Both markers.
There you go. But look, Dan, you got to go for it. He wanted the win. Okay, he ends up P3. He won't be happy with that. Just as Ekstrom yesterday wasn't happy with P2, but I'm happy to see such a wonderful fight. I love this sport, and you guys know that at home already. But who knew what to expect this year? Who knew? I'll tell you what. 2020's thrown us a few curveballs, hasn't it? I must admit, most of the curveballs I've received in 2020 have sucked. This one is really, really good. If this is how the rest of 2020 is going to play out, you might just save it as a half-decent year. Kevin Hansen going to get P2, and it is thoroughly deserved. It really is. They don't look too unhappy, do they, when you've been in a fight like that? I wasn't sure if Ekstrom was going to go for donuts or not. Maybe he's had a bit of a second thought about it. Oh, wow. Dan, I'm blown away. I'm knackered as well.
Yeah.
Double headers, wow.
Me.
Yeah, I mean, the teams will be tired. Of course, we've now 5 days' time, we're going to do this all again. We just thought we'd pop to Finland and do it all next weekend. So if you were busy, try not to be, basically. Yeah.
No, not try not to be. You're now not. We're telling you.
You're booked. You are now booked. Just going to get that white van man to move his van out of our podium shot. Cheers, mate. Off you go. Podium time at 4, round 2 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Neil Cole is with Johan Kristoffersen, who was given a penalty for track markers and dropped to P3.
Johan, before you put your mask on, you had a huge smile on your face, almost bigger than yesterday's. It looks like you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was such a fun final, and first of all, Robin had a very good start. From there on, we had a little bit of a wiggle, so lost a little bit of time in the beginning. Start to push, starting to get into the rhythm. Car was working fine, so happy with that. And then I got a gap from Matthias, and I heard it was really close, so I got on the radio that I really have to push. So and then I got a lap time or a time that I increased the gap a little bit. I'm not sure if it was correct or not, and then I got before the Joker. I have to do everything in the Joker, and I actually cut both the pillars. I was meant to do one, but it turned out to be 2, so got a 5-second penalty. But yeah, that was a fight to enjoy.
Well, congratulations on a 3rd.
Thank you.
That was calculated. That's what we mean about Kristoffersen. I was meant to do 1. He knew he had 2 penalties in the bag, that he could do one of the markers, and he did them both. Incredible. Let's have a look at the driver standings after round 2 of the World Rallycross Championship. Johan Kristoffersen leads by 2 points from Matthias Ekstrom after a weekend-long battle between them, and you can see from the grin on Johan's face that that is what this is all about. Larsen up to 3rd, Kevin up to 4th, Scheider up to 5th, Mark and Hansen and Niklas Gronholm dropping down. Backwards into 9th place, look, Zarbo, Timmers, Jan of Ericsson, your top 12. What a weekend, incredible. We're going to have a catch-up with Kevin Hansen, who was promoted to 2nd after Johan's penalty, but a brilliant drive by Kevin this weekend.
Kevin, not an easy weekend, but your pace has been good and it's been rewarded with the 2nd place. You've got to be happy with that.
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much. And I think the team, have worked very hard since yesterday. We saw we didn't have quite the pace, and we understood some things yesterday which paid off today. I think both me and Timmy were fast. He just got stuck in traffic, but I was there all the day. I challenged the guys ahead a bit, just not quite enough, and then I took advantage of Robin's mistakes in the final, and I think it was pretty bold move around the top. When I did it, I'm like, what am I doing? Completely crazy. But it was mega nice, mega fun, and to get on with the podium from Höljes is great, and a good start for the team for the season. We just need to keep working hard. We have 2 fast guys to beat.
Congratulations, enjoy the podium.
Thank you very much.
It was mega ballsy. Here are the team standings after round 2. KYB, Team JC, epic performance from Ekstrom and Larsen to be up there. Remember, of course, Kristoffersen is operating on his own this year, so isn't in the team standings. Team Hansen 2nd, GRX Tanako are in 3rd. Our winner, Matthias Ekstrom, is with Neil Cole.
Matthias, that was quite the final, but you came out as the winner. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Neil. It was a very exciting weekend, I have to say. Yesterday, being back fighting, I felt we had pace, but didn't really play into our hands. Today, again, we had constant weather. We were making small adjustments, and I have to say Robin was really contributing and did really good start. So he took me in the semi-final, but then I got clean air in the final, which was the key to the, I would say, to my win, and had a real clean run. Car worked fine, and I had the gaps to Johan, and I could hear I was wheeling him in, and then I knew it just to bang every lap in, inch perfect to beat him, and it's quite a pleasure because it's quite a while since someone beated him in that car fair and square. Haven't happened so many times, so big compliment to KYB that have been developing the dampers with us for such a long time. So we made a step over the last 2 years with them. Also the other partners that have been supporting me for this really late call, and the team. I mean, I can only be grateful, and to win is what I love, and today was really a great win.
So of course we have to ask you, will you be doing the rest of the season?
No, it was planned for here. I will speak with Joel when I come back. I still have other commitments which is colliding with other weekends, so this is sure. And Finland, I must say, admit it would be nice, but then afterwards it looks difficult unless some of my bosses or friends or partners would like to contribute that I can continue, but for the time being that's not the plan.
Okay, but hopefully we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, here's a heads up. If you are friends, partners contributing to Matthias Ekström's championship, if you don't contribute to it, I will personally, I will hunt you down. What's the line? Is it, I have a very specific set of skills. I will find you, and I will force you to make a payment towards Ekström. The fact he said next weekend would be very nice tells me I'm gonna have a cheeky little bet that we're gonna see Ekström next weekend. I think what happens there could determine what's gonna happen as to whether or not he carries on. Do you what? Whatever. Absolutely fantastic. It's another Swedish podium lockout. This time, Ekström on the top step from Kevin Hansen and Johan Kristoffersson.
It's time for the champagne!
Champagne showers on day 2. Kristoffersson and Ekström were up there yesterday, of course, with Mark, and it ended up being Scheider, who should have been on the podium. Kevin Hansen with his first podium of the season, but double podiums for both Johan and Matthias here at Hollius. Absolutely brilliant weekend of racing. Fantastic. What do you think about that, Dan? Apart from the fact that we could do with a lie down.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to pass out. My goodness me, that was
I'll pass out one day. We all know that in a final. You've seen the South Africa video. This kind of thing's no good for my heart. Well, I can't believe how long we had to wait for this season to start. I can't believe how rough the start of 2020 has been for everyone. I can't believe how epic a double-header at Hollius in Sweden is to kick off a World Rallycross Championship season after yesterday's mixed weather and mixed fortunes for the championship front runners. Today, look at that, we got Hansen and Bakkerud back together. We got Bakkerud with a hero drive to drag himself through. We got epic passes from Markland and Timmers Yarnov. We got the odd investigation. We like to get those, don't we, eh? This was Ekström versus Larsen, semi-final. Up into the first corner, Larsen wasn't willing to give any space, was he? Ekström having to fight. And in the end, it was Ekstrom who ended up on row 2 for the semi-finals. And you had to think, didn't you, that if he wasn't on the front row alongside Kristoffersson, it wasn't going to happen. Larsen taking the win from his teammate and team boss, I suppose, if you like. I think teammate this time. There he lined up, look, on row 2. He's in P3. Larsen's out front. Surely he can't do it from there. Little trip in the gravel trap for Larsen. Ekstrom goes off to the Joker lap on lap 1, and the hunt is on. Larsen hustled Kristoffersson. Once Larsen was gone, you had to fancy Kristoffersson might be able to take the tenths he needed to take the win. But Ekstrom kept on pushing. He got 4 cars in the one Joker lap merge. It was on. It went 3 tenths in the direction of Kristoffersson, and then somehow Ekstrom set the fastest lap of the weekend to stick it out in front of Johan. Absolutely stunning all weekend long. We're going to do it again in 5 days' time from Finland.